Chapter 1484. 1484 was here, no one dared to reject me. Aya, beauty, don't look at my sculptures as ordinary. You have to see their inner nature. Look at them, they are so lifelike and beautiful. Look at how cute these sculptures are. Even though you are like a fairy from heaven, you are still a match for me. Seeing a group of women with extraordinary statuses walking over, Dui Dezhuang's eyes lit up as he hurriedly introduced them. No. Although they are not bad, they are too ordinary. Little fatty bro, do you have anything more exquisite here? The forest fairy princess shook her head and asked Dui Dezhuang. Little fatty bro. Dui Dezhuang's face turned black when he heard Dui Dezhuang address him. All the sculptures are here. Mine is already very exquisite. Look at the color, the expression, the eyes. Dui Mu Dezhuang continued to introduce the sculptures. Although the sculptures are not bad, the materials are a little bad. If you are an expert, you don't need to learn how to sculpt to be able to create sculptures that are even more exquisite than this. If you want to give it to young Master He, the grade is definitely not high enough. The girls at the back looked at the sculpture and whispered. The forest fairy princess shook her head slowly with disappointment in her eyes. Cousin Qinglian, I know that the young man in the fatty's room is a master sculptor. The objects he is sculpting are several grades higher than this fatty. At the back, Yuan Sun hesitated for a moment. She looked at Wang Xian who was in the room and whispered to the woman beside her. Sun how did you know? The woman was slightly stunned and looked at Yuan Sun in astonishment. That fatty is from the same city as me. I have seen that young man carving things with my own eyes. But what's the matter? Yuan Sun said with some hesitation. The woman at the side quickly asked. But that young man's temper is a little strange. When I asked him to help me carve, he ignored me. His attitude was very bad. Yuan Sun said with some dissatisfaction in her heart. Oh really? This is not a matter. If Princess Lin Yaoyao asked that young man to carve, it would be his honor. Why would he refuse? The woman smiled and shook her head. She did not take these words to heart at all. That's true. Yuan Sun nodded. That young man was obviously here to join young Master He's army. Now that the princess of the forest Yao Yao clan asked him to carve, it was a blessing for him. Princess Yao Yao. At this time, Yuan Sun cousin saw that Princess Lin Yao Yao was about to leave. She quickly walked over and greeted respectfully. Yes, Qinglian, what's the matter? Lin Yao Yao looked at the woman and asked curiously. Princess Yao Yao, as far as I know, the young man in the fatty's shop is very good at carving. He is much better than that fatty. Why don't? The woman probed Princess Lin Yao Yao. Oh really? Lin Yao Yao looked over and looked at Wang Xian who was in the shop. Then she took 2 steps forward. At this moment, she saw a few sculptures placed on the table beside Wang Xian. The sculptures were emitting a green glow. When the young man moved, the sculptures actually moved. This made her face reveal surprise and love. He Feng who was at the side also looked over curiously. Little fatty, please call the young man in your shop over. I want to ask him to carve a sculpture. Lin Yao Yao smiled at Dui Dezhuang as she stared at Wang Xian. Oh, you want brother Wang Xian to carve a statue? Dui Dezhuang was stunned for a moment before a troubled expression appeared on his face. I'll go and ask. Dui Dezhuang knew Wang Xian's temper. He was a little cold and indifferent, as though he didn't care about anything. To be honest, even a man like him felt that he was a little handsome. However, this group of people in front of him was from the forest goblins. The rest of them also seemed to have extraordinary statuses. It wouldn't be good to offend them. As he spoke, he immediately entered the room. Brother Wang Xian, there's a big business deal. I'll talk to you about it. It can definitely. I heard what you said outside. I'm not doing it. Dui Dezhuang was interrupted by Wang Xian as he spoke. This caused his face to turn stiff. He looked at the tea on Wang Xian's table that was worth millions of middle-grade spirit stones and shook his head. This beauty, I'm really sorry. This brother of mine doesn't carve things for outsiders. Dui Dezhuang walked out and said to Lin Yaoyao with a smile on his face. You don't want to carve? Tell me, how many spirit stones do you want? Lin Yaoyao was slightly stunned and asked directly. This is not a problem of spirit stones. Dui Dezhuang shook his head in embarrassment. 10 million middle-grade spirit stones. Lin Yaoyao said directly. Dui Dezhuang's eyes lit up when he heard this number. He turned his head to look at Wang Xian in the room and shook his head bitterly. It's really not a problem of spirit stones. 100 million middle-grade spirit stones. Lin Yaoyao continued. Dui Dezhuang turned around and looked at Wang Xian in a daze. 500 million middle-grade spirit stones. Lin Yaoyao also stared at Wang Xian. She raised her head slightly and said, No matter how much it is, I won't sculpt it. Wang Xian immediately rejected her. Lin Yaoyao frowned when she heard his unwavering rejection. Young master, it's your good fortune that our princess Lin Yaoyao asked you to sculpt something. Yuan Sun-er's cousin walked over and said directly with a frown. Yes, our princess Lin Yaoyao asked you to sculpt and you refused. Young master has a personality, but our princess Yaoyao asked you to sculpt, so don't be disrespectful. The group of girls behind Lin Yaoyao spoke, and they directly revealed Lin Yaoyao's identity. In the entire He clan's forest, the position of the princess of the forest Yaoyao clan was only lower than 2 or 3 young masters of the He clan. Lin Yaoyao did not speak. She stared at Wang Xian indifferently. You don't know how to sculpt. However, what surprised everyone was that Wang Xian's cold voice came directly without any hesitation. This caused Lin Yaoyao's expression to change slightly. Her face was filled with displeasure. When Dui Dezhuang, who was standing at the side, heard the girl's words and Wang Xian's rejection, his body trembled. What the fuck? His fat body hurriedly ran to Wang Xian's side. My big brother, that's the princess of the forest goblins. Big brother, do you know the status of the forest goblins princess? She's an awesome person who's only slightly inferior to young Master He. 500 million middle-grade spirit stones. We agree, we agree. Dui Dezhuang lowered his voice and reminded Wang Xian in a low voice. No. Wang Xian shook his head. With his current strength, what he didn't want wouldn't be changed by some weaklings. It was obviously impossible. Dui Dezhuang's face turned black. Ahem, Your Highness, I'm sorry. My shop is closed today. It's closed. He walked out with a smile on his face as he braced himself and said, the last thing he wanted had happened. HMH, do you really think you are so great? I'll smash your shop in the future. Lin Yaoyao's temper flared up when she heard his words. She said angrily and turned around to leave. Wait. At this moment, He Feng, who was standing at the side, extended his hand to block Lin Yaoyao, who was about to leave angrily. He looked ahead and stared at Wang Xian, who was inside. I am He Feng. Please carve an item for Princess Yaoyao. He Feng said proudly. He Feng, cough, cough, cough. When Loanwood Dezhuang heard this name, he was so excited that his face turned red. He coughed violently twice. However, Wang Xian did not respond at all. This caused He Feng's expression to turn cold. I repeat, I am He Feng. I order you to carve an item for Princess Yaoyao. No one dares to reject me here. His voice turned colder and colder. Chapter 1485. 1485. No one dared to reject me here. No one dares to reject me here. A cold voice sounded. He Feng stood there and stared at Wang Xian with a cold gaze. Hiss, young master He Feng? What's going on? What are young master He Feng and Princess Yaoyao doing here? It seems like Princess Yaoyao wants something, but the others don't agree. There are still people who dare to disagree in the He clan's forest. He still wants to hang around here? Some people in the surrounding area heard He Feng's words and sucked in a cold breath. They looked over in shock. Everyone clearly knew what He Feng represented in the He clan's forest. This was the core disciple of the He clan's current generation. Although he wasn't as famous as young Master He Yuan, he couldn't be underestimated. He was definitely the leader of this generation's He clan. In this place, no one dared to reject He Feng. Unless they did not want to stay here anymore. Some people in the surroundings looked over. Lin Yaoyao frowned slightly when she saw how domineering He Feng was. However, she did not stop him. She was also a little displeased with Wang Xian's cold rejection. When Dumodezhuang heard He Feng's words, he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and ran to Wang Xian's side hurriedly. Big brother, big master, He Feng, the young master of the He clan. This is their territory. Duodezhuang reminded Wang Xian anxiously. Young master of the He clan, are you preparing to forcefully buy and sell? Wang Xian looked at the anxious Duodezhuang, shook his head, and said faintly. When He Feng heard what Wang Xian said, his face darkened and a hint of killing intent flashed in his eyes. It seems that you are not giving me face, He Feng? He Feng's face was gloomy. His gaze was filled with coldness as he stared at Wang Xian. Wang Xian ignored him. He brewed a cup of tea unhurriedly and started to taste it. He looked at the few sculptures in his hands. The atmosphere instantly froze. Cold sweat started to form on Duodezhuang's forehead. He wiped his face anxiously. He Feng's expression slowly turned ugly. He was the dignified young master of the He clan, and when he questioned him, this fellow actually leisurely poured a cup of tea and drank it. What the fuck? It was simply a silent humiliation. This made He Feng's expression change in embarrassment. It was impossible to make a move. As a famous top-tier force in the vast region, the He clan had its own rules. If the young master of the He clan were to use his strength to bully ordinary people, what would outsiders think? In this place, even if he was the young master of the He clan, he could not bully the weak in public, let alone kill people. Lin Yaoyao and the girls behind her were also stunned when they saw this scene. This fellow did not even give the young master of the He clan any face. Good, very good. I will remember this matter. He Feng smiled sinisterly. He took a deep look at Wang Xian and said, I hope you don't regret it. As he spoke, he turned around and left with an embarrassed expression. When the crowd heard He Feng's threat, their pupils constricted slightly. They looked at Wang Xian sympathetically. This kid really has a backbone. However, offending young master He Feng is simply courting death. Some people thought to themselves as they silently watched He Feng leave in anger. Lin Yaoyao saw that Wang Xian didn't even care about He Feng. She snorted in surprise and left as well. Yuan Sun and the rest followed behind with a face full of confusion. It's over. Brother Wang Xian, you're done for. It's possible that even I'm done for. Seeing He Feng leave with a face full of anger, Duodezhuang said anxiously as he paced around the shop. Brother Wang Xian, I think you'd better run away quickly. Otherwise, you're really done for. He Feng won't deal with you in public, but it's too easy to deal with you in secret. You'd better run away quickly. As he spoke, he sat opposite Wang Xian and said, It's all right, there's no need to be anxious. Wang Xian saw him pacing around anxiously and shook his head. How can I not be in a rush? It's getting late. Let's go back and rest. Wang Xian stood up and walked out without a care in the world. Brother Wang Xian. Dumodezhuang looked at Wang Xian with a face full of astonishment and helplessness. He had finally witnessed Wang Xian's true personality. Dumodezhuang hurriedly packed his things and followed behind Wang Xian. He kept on nagging along the way. Help me check the residence of that fellow. At a spot not far away from the holy tree, He Feng walked in with a gloomy face. He spoke to the two young men behind him coldly. Young Master He, do you want us to get rid of him directly? The two young men behind him said with murderous intent in their eyes. What do you think? He Feng glanced at the two of them indifferently. I've said it before. No one dares to refuse me here. The result of refusing is death. The cold voice startled the two young men. They immediately nodded. Young Master He, don't worry. We know what to do. But guard there. It's fine. Just say what I want you to do. He Feng didn't seem to mind at all and directly said, I'll leave this matter to you. I want to enter the holy tree. When my 7th brother's birthday comes, report back to me. As he spoke, he directly walked into a door that seemed to be wrapped with life and entered. The two young men stopped there. When they saw He Feng's back disappear, they looked at each other. Ask the two experts who have pledged allegiance to young Master He to make a move. This is the first time I've seen such a suicidal fellow. If he were to anger young Master He would be courting death. If young Master He wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as squashing an ant to death. There will always be ants courting death. What can we do? After today, He Feng won't be able to remember this ant at all. As the two spoke, they walked out. The He clan had absolute control over the entire He clan's forest. If the He clan wanted to find a person here, they would be able to do so in less than an hour. When the sky darkened, countless fireflies lit up the entire world in the He clan's forest. The night in the He clan's forest was like a dreamlike fairy tale world. The place where Wang Xian lived was a very high-end place in the He clan's forest. The daily rent was 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. The house was situated 300 meters in the air. The house was built in the middle of 2 trees. It was extremely beautiful. Dui de Zhuang was also living alone in his house. He could be considered to be living in this luxurious room under the influence of Wang Xian. Young Master He Feng is magnanimous. He won't take revenge. He will take revenge. He won't take revenge. In the room of One Tree Zhuang, he was holding a flower in his hand. He plucked the petals one by one while muttering to himself. Growing up in a decent family, he knew the breadth of mind of some young masters. If someone offended him, he would secretly deal with him even if he couldn't make a move on the spot. He plucked the petals one by one. He will take revenge. That's it? No, I must have said something wrong. I won't take revenge, I won't take revenge. In the house, his mouth was trembling. It was late at night. Not far away, for figures were looking in his direction. Chapter 1486. 1486. In the blink of an eye, 1486 turned into ashes. Elderly, he's up there. A young man is so arrogant that he doesn't even give young Master He any face. The He clan's forest was quieter in the middle of the night. The chirping of some insects made the entire night very pleasant to the ears. Occasionally, there would be people walking, but it was no longer as lively as during the day. At this time, it was a pure land. 2 young men and 2 old men were standing in the shadows not far away, talking. An ant, we can easily crush him to death. The 2 old men nodded indifferently. They didn't care at all about a young man who was courting death and had offended their young master. Then leave it to the 2 old men. The 2 young men said with a smile. Wait until the experts from the patrol team arrive. Tell them about it. The 2 old men nodded and said to them, Don't worry, old men. The young master has already instructed us. Don't worry and take action. The 2 men nodded. It was forbidden to take action within the He clan's forest. Even the profound void martial experts did not dare to disobey. All right. As the 2 men spoke, they waved their arms, and an array formation directly enveloped the area in front of them. In order to prevent alerting the others, they had to use the formation to cover the area. However, they knew the consequences of releasing the formation. That was if they were discovered by the patrol team in the He clan's forest. But the fluctuation of the formation instantly enveloped the house that Wang Xian was staying in. At the same time, there was also the house that was built with a single tree. As for One Tree Zhuang, he was just killing him along the way. In the house that was 300 meters long, Wang Xian was lying in the room. He suddenly felt the fluctuation of energy around him and raised his eyebrows slightly. Such a narrow-minded person. If he really had a conflict with the He clan. He frowned slightly and revealed an unhappy expression. Wang Xian didn't want to see a conflict with the He clan. However, it was obviously impossible for him to lower his head to a kid at level 2 of the see-through realm. A hint of coldness slowly appeared in Wang Xian's eyes. There's a fluctuation in the formation. Southwest direction, you're courting death. At this moment, the moment the formation was activated, 3 see-through realm experts from the Forest Fairy race and 4 see-through realm experts from the He clan were slightly shocked. They flew over at a terrifying speed. Sir Patrols, we are the subordinates of young Master He Feng. When the 7 patrolling experts flew over, the 2 young men who had been waiting below immediately called out to them respectfully. What are the 2 of you doing? This array formation has something to do with you. The 7 insightful emptiness realm experts narrowed their eyes slightly and glanced at the 2 people below, their gazes fixed on the position of the array formation. Through a special method, they could see the 2 old men floating in the sky. Reporting to the lords, we are here to take care of a kid under the orders of young Master He Feng. The 2 young men immediately said respectfully. Their words caused the 7 patrolling experts to frown slightly. During the day, young Master He Feng and Princess Yao Yao came across a shop and wanted a young man to help them sculpt objects. Not only did that young man not agree, but he even insulted young Master and the others, so the 2 of them explained to the 7 patrolling experts. The 7 of them looked at each other. Naturally, they did not believe their clumsy excuses. Since we have provoked young Master He Feng, let's kill him. A middle-aged man said in a deep voice. Tell young Master He Feng not to do such things that break the rules. I really admire young Master He Feng. It is already good enough that he did not kill him in public. He is decisive in killing and compliments young Master He Yuan. Have He Feng's men wipe out all traces. The 7 patrols looked at each other and said, but did not stop this matter. Moreover, it was not the first time they had encountered such a thing. However, with He Feng's talent and status, killing a few reckless fellows in the dark, killing them was as good as killing them. Yes, yes. Don't worry, my lords. There's only a young man inside. Elder Du and Elder Li are both 3rd-level void interpretation experts. We'll be able to settle this very quickly. The 2 of them said hurriedly. The 7 of them nodded their heads and looked towards the position of the formation. Through their perception of the trees, they could see the scene inside the formation clearly. At this moment, the 2 elders were floating in the sky 300 meters away. They were staring at the house in front of them. Elder Du and Elder Li exchanged a glance. Their eyes revealed a cold killing intent. A black aura slowly emerged from their bodies. Cut. At this moment, Wang Xian's door was suddenly opened. This made Elder Du and Elder Li slightly stunned. He Feng sent you guys here? You want to kill me? The door was opened. Wang Xian looked at the 2 elders who were standing outside and swept his gaze across the position behind them. The 7 insightful emptiness realm experts were clearly seen by him. He also knew that they were the patrolling members of the He clan who had just arrived. Kid, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for your own death. Hee, remember, don't provoke young Master He in your next life. The 2 old men were slightly stunned, but they recovered quickly. Elder Du stared at Wang Xian and said coldly, go to hell. He growled in a low voice and a gust of black gas attacked Wang Xian directly. I originally didn't want to attack you guys, but if I don't, you guys are courting death again. Wang Xian stared at them expressionlessly without even looking at the black gas. With a flick of his finger, he flicked it. Buzz. 2 streams of energy were released. In an instant, the black gas dissipated. Huh. Elder Du and Elder Li were slightly stunned. This kid still dared to resist. However, their expressions were frozen there forever. Buzz. His body seemed to be frozen by time. Following that, his entire body seemed to have been retrieved by this world and dissipated immediately. He vanished completely without leaving a single trace. What? At the spot outside, when the 7 insightful emptiness realm experts saw Elder Du and Elder Li disappear, their entire bodies were instantly covered. They stared at Wang Xian's location in disbelief. What greeted them was a pair of cold eyes. Hiss! In an instant, the 7 insightful emptiness realm experts sucked in a breath of cold air at the same time. Their eyes revealed a look of fear. They also knew Elder Du and Elder Li's strength, the 3rd level of the insightful emptiness realm. Among them, the strongest was only at the 3rd level of the insightful emptiness realm. However, under their shocked gazes, the 2 3rd-level insightful emptiness realm experts flicked their fingers, and that young man directly turned into ashes. There wasn't the slightest trace. How was this possible? What was his strength? Everyone felt a chill on their backs. At this moment, they saw the young man in front of them waving his arm gently. The formation of the 3rd level of the void interpretation stage collapsed and dissipated. A pair of eyes looked at them. Why isn't this guy dead yet? Where are Elder Li and Elder Du? However, the 2 young men below looked at the formation that had suddenly disappeared and Wang Xian, who was standing at the door with a stunned expression. I don't want to have any conflict with your race. However, they must die. Wang Xian looked at the 7 patrolling men. With a flick of his finger, 2 streams of energy shot towards the 2 young men. What's the situation? The 2 young men were suddenly at a loss when they heard Wang Xian's words. However, they were soon freed from any worries and turned into ashes. Chapter 1487. 1487 1487. The He clan was shaken. Hiss! A wave of fear enveloped the hearts of the 2. When the 7 patrolling experts of the He clan saw this scene, they felt a chill down their spines. In the blink of an eye, they were reduced to ashes. Moreover, the other party was an expert at the 3rd rank of the Profound Void tier. This was a 3rd rank of the Profound Void tier. Even if it was an expert at the 5th rank of the Profound Void tier, if they wanted to kill an expert at the 3rd rank of the Profound Void tier, they would have to move their muscles and bones, right? However, a young man who looked extremely young killed them with a snap of his fingers. The 7 of them were in a daze. At the same time, they looked at this terrifying young man in horror. Could it be that his strength was at level 6 of the see-through realm? How was this possible? Wang Xian looked at the 7 patrols and frowned slightly. Run! However, when Wang Xian was hesitating and was about to speak, the 7 patrols looked at each other. Without any hesitation, they ran straight towards the holy tree. At the same time, they activated the highest alert for their patrols. About 2,000 meters in front of the holy tree, there was a rather solemn black wooden building complex. The words Law Enforcement Pavilion were filled with coldness and killing intent. A huge flag of the He clan was placed beside the Law Enforcement Pavilion. At this moment, the huge flag suddenly fluttered without any wind and let out a bitter and violent sound. Boom, boom, boom. There's a problem. There's an enemy. Who dares to cause trouble in our clan? The flag is trembling. It's at least an expert at the Profound Void Tier 6. They're courting death. Around the Law Enforcement Pavilion, one figure after another flew to the front of the Law Enforcement Pavilion at a terrifying speed. Everyone's faces revealed a cold expression as one figure after another gathered together. The leaders were 3 powerhouses at level 6 of the see-through realm. These 3 powerhouses were the 3 pavilion masters of the Law Enforcement Pavilion. Northwest direction, let's go. The 3 pavilion masters looked at the trembling flag with murderous intent in their eyes. They moved their bodies and flew directly toward the northwest direction. A group of more than 20 see-through realm powerhouses flew over directly. Wang Xian was slightly stunned when he saw the 7 patrols suddenly escape. He frowned and considered whether he should chase after them. However, if he were to chase after them, it might cause a bigger misunderstanding. I wonder what the status of the people I killed is. Wang Xian shook his head. If their status was higher, it might not be easy to deal with them even if he had a good relationship with He Yuan. However, Wang Xian didn't care too much. If the He clan was defeated, he would attack them one by one and force them to help him find Ling Jian. He looked at the 7 figures who had disappeared and looked at the room at the side. In the room, a faint snoring sound could be heard. Wang Xian shook his head speechlessly. Dui Mudezhuang was really generous and fat. After closing the door, Wang Xian poured himself a cup of tea and waited quietly. What's going on? What happened? I asked you to issue a warning. At this moment, in the sky above the He clan's forest, 7 patrolling officers who were fleeing in fear looked behind them from time to time. They were afraid that Wang Xian would chase after them. When the more than 20 law enforcement officers who were rushing over saw the 7 patrolling officers who were filled with fear, they frowned. 3 pavilion masters. When the 7 patrolling officers heard their voices, they heaved a sigh of relief and wiped off the cold sweat on their foreheads. What happened? The 3 hall masters frowned and asked them. Hall master, 4 of young master He Feng's subordinates were killed. They were instantly killed and turned into ashes. One of the patrolling officers said with a grave expression. What? Tell us the details. Everyone was slightly taken aback and immediately said. Just now, we sensed the fluctuations of the array formation and immediately flew over. We discovered that it was 4 of young master He Feng's subordinates, 2 third-level void interpretation experts, and 2 young men. They followed young master He Feng's orders and came to kill a young man. We didn't stop them at that time, but what happened next shocked us greatly. The young man that young master He Feng wanted to kill easily killed 2 third-level profound void martial experts with a flick of his finger and turned them into ashes, as if they didn't exist at all. A patrol officer gulped and said with some fear. What? A young man? Do you know his identity? A few people had serious expressions on their faces. A young man could turn 2 level 3 profound void martial experts into ashes with a snap of his fingers. Even the top geniuses in the vast area couldn't do it. I don't know. Everyone shook their heads. It might not be a young man. He might have taken some special pills to maintain his youthful appearance. No matter what, if he dares to kill people here, we can't let him go. One of the pavilion masters said with a cold gaze. That's right. Let's capture him first and interrogate him. The other pavilion master nodded his head coldly as well. As one of the top 5 forces in the vast region, especially in their territory, they were not afraid of anyone. Let's go. Capture him. If he resists with all his might, kill him immediately. Led by the 3 pavilion masters, a group of more than 30 people flew towards the place where Wang Xian was staying. It's at the house in front. When they were close to 2 kilometers away, a patrol officer pointed at the 300-meter tall house and said, Use the 7th level void interpretation formation to envelop him. The 3 pavilion masters moved their palms slightly and a formation compass appeared in their hands. 1. The formation directly covered an area of 2,000 meters. One pavilion master waved his arm, and a wave of energy entered the other rooms, causing everyone to fall unconscious. Those inside, come out and follow us. After everything was set up, a group of over 30 void interpretation experts stood 1,000 meters away from the other side of the room, and a cold voice was transmitted into the room. 3 of them are at level 6 of the void interpretation stage, 6 of them are at level 5 of the void interpretation stage, and more than 20 of them are below level 5 of the void interpretation stage. The He clan is really strong. Wang Xian looked over and mumbled to himself. He stood up slowly and walked out of the house. Huh! Everyone was slightly shocked when they saw Wang Xian's figure. Young, how dare you kill 4 people in our He clan? Follow me and await your punishment. A pavilion master sized up Wang Xian and said coldly, Are all of you from the He clan so overbearing? It was your people who came here to kill me first. All I did was to execute their idea on them. Wang Xian frowned slightly when he heard the domineering words of the level 6 AA expert. He spoke in a cold tone. No matter what, since you dare to kill people here, you have to come with us. Otherwise. The leader of the pavilion was still staring at Wang Xian with an imposing manner. With a move of his arm, a 2-meter-long giant sword appeared in front of him. Otherwise what? Wang Xian restrained his expression and swept his gaze across them. Otherwise, I will kill you directly. As he spoke, the giant sword in his hand was extended by terrifying sharp thorns. In the surroundings, a group of experts took out their weapons with their faces. A terrifying aura was emitted and charged toward Wang Xian. Chapter 1488. 1488. The 1488 He clan was in a state of shock. Make your move. If he dares to resist, kill him on the spot. Wang Xian frowned when he saw the group of He clan's powerhouses taking out their weapons forcefully. When he heard the order of a level 6 insightful void martial artist, he sighed helplessly. All of you really deserve to be taught a lesson. As Wang Xian spoke, the 5 elements millstone slowly appeared in front of his chest. He waved his arm and the 5 elements millstone expanded. It charged straight at the more than 30 insightful void martial artists in front of him. Attack! When the more than 30 insightful emptiness realm experts saw Wang Xian taking the initiative to attack, their faces revealed a cold expression as they let out a low growl. But the 5 elements millstone rotated. Even though Wang Xian was in his human form now, with his current strength, it was easy for him to kill a level 6 insightful emptiness realm expert in his human form. The more than 30 insightful emptiness realm experts waved their staffs, swords, and bows in their hands as they charged towards the 1,000-meter-sized 5 elements millstone. What? However, when the terrifying forces collided, more than 30 insightful void martial artists revealed shocked expressions. Even the expressions of the 3 insightful void martial artists changed drastically. Their attacks were directly crushed and dissipated by the revolving millstone when they landed on the 5 elements millstone. Right at this moment, roars sounded from the 5 elements millstone. The 5 divine dragons' bodies shook, and gray dragon phantoms directly attacked the 30 or so profound void martial experts. Be careful, the opponent's strength is very strong. A rank 6 profound void martial expert's expression changed, and he warned loudly. Dharma idol, heaven and earth become a forest. Dharma idol, tear. Dharma idol, roots explode with power. With a loud roar, he unleashed his Dharma idol. Around him, many insightful emptiness realm experts also hurriedly unleashed their Dharma idols, attacking the gray divine dragons. Boom, boom, boom. For a moment, a terrifying explosion sounded. Wang! The 5 elements millstone was still like a world-destroying millstone, pressing forward. Escape from the formation below the 4th rank of the profound void tier. They are not someone you can fight against. Ask the clan leader and the others for help. The 3 pavilion masters saw that their Dharma idol attack was only able to resist one of the opponent's attacks. And that young man had yet to make a move, which made the 3 pavilion masters feel a wave of fear in their hearts. The opponent might not be an expert at the 6th rank of the profound void tier, but an even stronger existence. At the thought of this, they felt their scalps go numb. A person at level 7 of the see-through realm was considered a top-notch existence in the He clan. Other than a few patriarchs of their clan, there were only 8 of them at level 7 of the see-through realm. There were only 4 of them at the Holy Tree, while the rest were at the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Yes, Pavilion Master. The 20 or so see-through realm experts hurriedly fled outside with terrified expressions. It's not that easy to escape. When Wang Xian saw them leaving, a hint of coldness appeared on his face. Since they were attacking him, he would definitely not let them leave unscathed. He raised his arm slowly and his entire arm turned into a terrifying dragon claw. The 10-meter-long dragon claw landed on Wang Xian's body, adding a hint of terrifying aura to it. Buzz. He moved his dragon claw and a grayish energy attacked the 20 people directly. This is bad. Quick run. The changes in Wang Xian's body caused the 3 pavilion masters and the rest to show a look of fear on their faces. They hurriedly shouted loudly, "This is bad." However, the group of strongest experts at level 3 of the Void Interpretation Realm were unable to escape from Wang Xian's dragon claw. Bang bang bang. A huge force landed on their bodies, causing them to feel a sweet taste in their mouths. They spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Their bodies were sent flying backward. Phew! The group of 20 insightful void martial artists felt the injuries in their bodies and heaved a sigh of relief. It was only a slight internal injury. They did not turn around and flew out of the formation hurriedly. Clan leader, clan elder, there is an invasion of experts. Our law enforcement pavilion cannot stop it. We request the clan leader and clan elders to provide assistance. When the 20 insightful emptiness realm experts charged out of the formation, a howl that covered a radius of several dozen kilometers suddenly sounded in the quiet night sky. The sound was loud and very abrupt, causing everyone within a radius of several dozen kilometers to be completely stunned. Peng! What's the situation? An expert has invaded? Heavens, how is this possible? Which force dares to invade the He clan? It can't be? An expert that the law enforcement pavilion can't stop is at least an expert at the 7th level of the profound void tier. Who is it that dares to cause trouble in the He clan? A whistling sound startled everyone within a radius of dozens of kilometers. Many people were asleep. They sat up with shocked expressions on their faces. There's an expert. Under the holy tree, it was thousands of meters tall and thousands of meters in diameter. There were many quiet houses under the holy tree and on its branches. The surroundings of the holy tree were filled with dense wood elemental energy. When the cry for help sounded, 3 old men and a middle-aged man opened their eyes in the houses on the 1,000-meter tall branches. Their eyes froze. Let's go and see who it is that dares to cause trouble here. The middle-aged man's voice sounded. His figure moved and a light figure appeared in the air. The other 3 old men also moved, following closely behind. Around the holy tree, figures flickered, and all the insightful emptiness realm experts in the He clan's holy tree moved. Those below insightful emptiness realm level 4 don't need to come over. Those above insightful emptiness realm level 4, leave some to guard the surroundings. The rest follow. The He clan leader looked at the clansmen below and said in a low voice, "Yes, clan leader. Who dares to cause trouble in our He clan? They don't know death. Come, let's go and take a look." The people from the law enforcement pavilion couldn't resist it. The opponent's strength is definitely at the 7th level of the profound void tier. I want to see which force dares to provoke us. Below, the lowest level 4th level profound void tier expert followed the figures of the clan leader and the clan elder and flew forward. The entire He clan was shaken. Someone dared to cause trouble in the He clan, and it was even a top-notch expert. Such a thing had not happened for over 1,000 years. The He clan leader and the 3 clan elders' gazes were like torches as they stared coldly ahead. Their speed was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, they had appeared at the location where the sound had come from. Boom boom boom. However, when they had just arrived, they saw that the profound void rank 7 formation in front of them was slowly cracking open. More than 10 figures directly flew out from the formation. They spat out fresh blood, and their faces were somewhat pale as they heavily landed on the ground. The He clan leader and the 3 clan leaders coldly swept their gazes over. Seeing that no one had died, they let out a slight sigh of relief. Closely following that, their gazes stared at the center of the formation's crack, the young man floating in the air. Clan leader, his strength is terrifying. He should be an expert at the 7th level of the see-through realm. The 3 pavilion masters saw the clan leader and the rest flying over. They clutched their chests and exclaimed in fear. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, 30 to 40 figures flew over at a terrifying speed and surrounded Wang Xian. Chapter 1489. 1489. The He clan was shaken. Hiss, what happened? The Lin clan leader and the 3 clan elders of the 7th level of the Profound Void tier have all arrived. My God, what kind of existence invaded the Lin clan? The Lin clan actually sent out so many experts. The other party is definitely an expert of the Profound Void tier, definitely of the 7th level of the Profound Void tier. Otherwise, it would be impossible for so many experts to have arrived. At a few kilometers away, when everyone saw the He clan flying towards them with such a huge formation, they were all shocked. They looked over in a daze. They could only vaguely see a figure floating in the sky within the encirclement of the He clan's experts. 30 to 40 experts at the 4th level of the see-through level surrounded Wang Xian. They kept a distance of 1,000 meters and stared at Wang Xian vigilantly. A group of powerhouses from the law enforcement pavilion covered their wounds and came to the back of the He clan leader and the 3 clan elders. They stared at the young man in front of them with some fear. Just now, the young man merely flashed his body and all of them were sent flying backward. Even the extremely sturdy 7th level void interpretation stage formation did not last more than 5 seconds under the attack of the young man. This was a 7th level void interpretation formation that could trap a 6th level void interpretation formation. Who are you? Which faction are you from? Tell us your name. We, the Lin clan, will not kill nameless people. The He clan leader and the 3 clan elders were floating in the sky. They sized up Wang Xian with surprise in their eyes and asked coldly, "Will not kill nameless people?" Wang Xian was floating in the sky. He looked at all of them arrogantly and revealed a faint sneer on his face. He wasn't afraid at all. There wasn't the slightest hint of panic on his face either. Not to mention the 4 experts at level 7 of the see-through realm, Wang Xian wasn't even afraid of an expert at level 8 of the see-through realm. Even if he couldn't defeat them, with his current strength, he could still escape from the hands of an expert at level 8 of the see-through realm. You people don't have the qualifications to do so. Wang Xian raised his head slightly and stared at the He clan's leader with an indifferent expression. What an arrogant fellow. No wonder you dare to be arrogant in our He clan. If we let you go today, our He clan's face would be unnecessary. A clan leader stared at Wang Xian with a smile. He raised his arm slightly and a green wooden stick that was emitting a brilliant glow appeared in his hand. He stared at Wang Xian with a face full of fighting spirit and smiled sinisterly. The people of your He clan came to assassinate me. I killed them. I have already given you face by not killing the experts of your law enforcement pavilion. Since you don't want your face, there is no need for me to give it to you. Wang Xian stood in the air as he stared at all of them coldly. It has been thousands of years. No one has provoked our He clan for thousands of years. You are the first. The He clan leader frowned slightly when he heard his words. However, his expression turned cold immediately after. A huge staff that was 2 meters in size appeared in his hand. The staff contained endless vitality. The moment the staff appeared, the surrounding trees let out a rustling sound as if they were about to pay their respects. Buzz. Wang Xian waved his arm and the 5 elements millstone appeared under his feet. It gradually grew bigger. A surge of energy of the 5 elements gushed into the surroundings. Wang Xian revealed an unruly expression on his face as a surge of energy of the 5 elements dispersed into the surroundings. Wang Xian was not the least bit afraid of the He clan's leader and the rest. Even though they were from the He Yuan clan, the He clan's actions tonight had already infuriated him. The dignity of the strong was not something that could be trampled on so easily. Wang Xian would not be able to bear and explain the He clan's mistakes. He stood on the 5 elements millstone as it spun. His cold gaze swept across everyone around him. Next, if someone is going to die, you all deserve it. Wang Xian said slowly. How arrogant. Everyone line up. Don't even think about leaving the He clan today. Just as Wang Xian finished his words, the eyes of the He clan's leader and elders shot out a terrifying killing intent. With a wave of their arms, the experts who were at least at level 4 of the see-through realm quickly dispersed into the surroundings. However, an elder who was standing behind Wang Xian looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. The more he looked at him, the more familiar he felt. Especially when Wang Xian was spinning on the 5 elements millstone just now, a figure flashed across his mind. However, as it had been too long, he didn't know who it was. He hesitated for a moment before moving to the front of Wang Xian. It's been a long time since I've made a move. I hope you won't disappoint me. The burly clan leader, who was holding a wooden club, had a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. A terrifying atmosphere spread out in the surroundings. Even within a radius of 10 kilometers, one could feel this pressure. If it's just you alone, I can easily crush you to death. Wang Xian stared at the clan elder with a proud expression. Since they wanted to fight, he would play with them for a while before leaving. Kill. When the He clan leader heard Wang Xian's arrogant words, a terrifying pressure spread out in the surroundings. Young Master Wang. Just as the He clan leader and the 3 clan leaders were about to attack. Just as Wang Xian was about to transform into a dragon, an exclamation and an incredulous voice came from the side. Ha! The sudden voice stunned Wang Xian, the He clan leader, and the 3 clan leaders. Wang Xian looked over and looked at the elder who spoke. The He clan leader and the rest also looked over with a frown. Clan leader Yan. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect to meet an acquaintance here. Furthermore, it was an acquaintance from the Luhai region. Clan leader Yan was the one who had been following He Yuan when he came to the Luhai region. At the banquet at the Heavenly Sword Sect, Wang Xian had met clan leader Yan. At that time, he was only at level 3 of the see-through realm. Now, he had already reached level 4 of the see-through realm. Young Master Wang, it's really you. The Yan clan leader stared at Wang Xian in disbelief and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He was a little absent-minded. He had a very deep impression of Wang Xian back then. According to what young master he said, he was a young beast tamer who was even stronger than him. Even young master, he was convinced by him. Moreover, Wang Xian's relationship with young master, he was very good when they were in the Flowing Sea region. However, this arrogant young man who looked down on the He clan leader and the clan leader was actually young Master Wang. 7th level of the see-through realm. Gulp. Yan Changqing, who is he? The He clan leader saw that his subordinate recognized this young man. Furthermore, he seemed to be very familiar with him. He frowned slightly and asked. Reporting to the clan leader, he is young Master He Yuan's good brother. Young Master He Yuan had a good relationship with young Master Wang when he was in the Luhai region. Yan Changqing quickly reported to the clan leader. Yuan heir's good brother? Everyone around was stunned. Chapter 1490. 1490. This child was Yao Shang. In the He clan's forest, the He clan's leader, the 3 clan leaders, and all the experts of the He clan around them were stunned and shocked when they heard Yan Changqing's words. The He clan's leader was even more shocked. Yuan heir's good brother? The He clan's leader had always been very proud of his son, especially He Yuan. He was born with a special constitution and had terrifying talent as a beast tamer. He Yuan's talent was not inferior to the most talented disciples of the 3 super forces. In fact, he even thought highly of his son in terms of potential in the future. Even so, the He clan leader did not think that his son could become good brothers with a 7th-rank profound void martial artist. A strong person had the dignity of a strong person. 2 years ago, his son was only at level 1 of the see-through realm. However, the other party had such terrifying strength. How could he have a level 1 of the see-through realm as his brother? Even if it was because of the He clan's background, the possibility was not very high. Level 7 of the see-through realm. With such strength, even in the He clan, He was considered a top-notch powerhouse. The three clan elders looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. Their expressions kept changing. Are you good friends with He Yuan? The He clan leader stared at Wang Xian and asked with a frown. We communicated for a period of time when we were in the Flowing Sea region. Wang Xian looked at the He clan leader and nodded his head faintly. Are you here this time? The He clan leader couldn't react in time. His son's friend almost got into a fight with them. Moreover, this friend of his son had the ability to fight against them. I came over from the Flowing Sea region. I have something to ask He Yuan for help. I heard that his birthday is in a few days, so I waited here for a few days. Wang Xian stood there and spoke in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. If he could avoid a conflict with the He clan, Wang Xian would naturally avoid a conflict as well. Of course, the prerequisite was that the other party didn't have to be so overbearing and domineering. Can you explain what happened tonight? The He clan leader's tone was a little better as he spoke to Wang Xian. It's you who should give me an explanation. However, Wang Xian didn't give them a way out. He swept his gaze across the patrol team behind them. Clan leader. At this moment, a few patrol team members immediately walked forward and reported the cause of the incident to the He clan leader. Feng. When the He clan leader heard their conversation, he frowned slightly. He immediately had a rough understanding of the cause and effect. During the day, it was obvious that Wang Xian didn't give Feng any face. At night, he ordered people to come and kill him. However, what Feng didn't expect was that the other party was a terrifying level 7 void interpretation stage powerhouse. As a top-tier expert, if someone tried to assassinate him, the result would naturally be obvious. The dignity of an expert could not be offended. This caused everyone around to frown slightly. They had never thought that the cause of the matter was because Feng had sent people to assassinate him. Looks like this matter is just a misunderstanding. The He clan leader's face was slightly ugly. One of his son's expert friends had come to celebrate his son's birthday. In the end, his other son had sent people to assassinate him. Moreover, they had a conflict with him. It was a little embarrassing. Wang Xian smiled faintly and didn't say anything. This matter is our He clan's fault. This brother came to look for He Yuan. This kid is currently in the holy tree and can't come out for the time being. We don't care about this matter. Let's apologize to our brother. Why don't this brother come to stay in the He clan? When He Yuan comes out, you guys can catch up on old times. The clan leader who was holding the club suggested awkwardly. Don't bother. I'll wait here for a few days. We'll meet again on his birthday. Wang Xian shook his head and refused. All right. When the He clan leader heard Wang Xian's words, he pondered for a moment and said, Yuana has never had any friends. I'm sure Yuana will be very happy when he finds out about your arrival. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. Brother Wang, if you have any needs in the He clan's forest, you can come and look for us. If you have friends coming from afar, we will definitely do what we can. The He clan leader continued speaking and cupped his hands toward Wang Xian. All right, thank you He clan. When Wang Xian saw how courteous they were, he cupped his hands as well. 1 foot in front of the other, and 1 foot in front of the other. This had always been Wang Xian's principle in doing things. Then, we shall not disturb Brother Wang. When Yuan comes out, our He clan will treat you to a feast. The He clan leader revealed a smile on his face. He gestured to the surrounding clansmen and flew towards the holy tree. It's just a misunderstanding that has disturbed everyone. I'm sorry. At this moment, at least hundreds of thousands of people within a radius of tens of kilometers were observing the situation. The voice of a tribe elder resounded in everyone's mind. What's going on? Why did they disperse without a fight? Misunderstanding? Who is that figure? What kind of misunderstanding happened? Puzzled voices rang out in the surroundings. Wang Xian took a glance and entered the room directly. The unconscious lone tree de Zhuang did not know about the shocking scene that had happened. Yan Changqing, you know about that young Master Wang. Tell me everything. At this moment, before they reached the position of the holy tree, the He clan leader could not help but ask Yen Chongqing. He had to pay attention to a peerless powerhouse who had suddenly appeared and was a friend of his son. The entire He clan couldn't help but take him seriously as well. Clan leader, I don't know much about this young Master Wang. All I know is that he is also a beast tamer. Back then, when the two of them competed in strength, even young Master He Yuan was forced to admit defeat. Later on, young Master He Yuan played with him for quite a few days. When he left, young Master He Yuan invited him to the vast region. He said that he would come here in 3 to 5 years at most. As for the rest, I don't know either. Yen Chongqing said in full detail. Go and investigate. Find out all the information about this young Master Wang. Use all the strength of the He clan. The He clan leader immediately gave an order to Yen Chongqing. It's the clan leader. Yen Chongqing was slightly startled and hurriedly nodded. Inform us once the information is found out. The 3 clan elders said to the He clan leader. Yes. He clan leader nodded. They had to understand this matter in detail. In less than half an hour, the entire He clan's strength was mobilized. With the He clan's strength, if they wanted to obtain information, even if it was from the Flowing Sea region, they would at most be able to obtain it in 2 days. During these 2 days, everyone in the He clan's forest was filled with curiosity towards the matter of that night, and they were all discussing it. 2 days later, one by one, the information was sent to the He clan leader. When he flipped open the information, he sucked in a breath of cold air. Chapter 1491. 1491 was the son of a demon, the supreme genius of the Flowing Sea region. A few months ago, the entire Flowing Sea region was unified under his control. The person behind the Flowing Sea region, the friend of the Empress of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, easily killed a rank 6 profound void martial artist. This was a message from the Flowing Sea region. These messages were not what shocked them the most. What shocked them the most was the following information. A month ago, he appeared in the vast North Flowing Sea region and destroyed the towering Sky Sword sect at a terrifying speed. He single-handedly killed 2 sword masters of the towering Sky Sword sect who were at the 7th rank of the insightful Void Realm in a short period of time. He destroyed the towering Sky Sword sect and established the Heartless Sword Dao sect. He is currently looking for a girl. She is only 30 years old. Information appeared one after another in front of the He clan leader and the 3 clan leaders. When they saw the information, their faces revealed a shocked expression. Especially the last introduction of the information, she was only 30 years old. 30 years old, only 30 years old. Seeing this number, they felt a little dazed. Reaching the 7th level of the profound void tier at 30 years old. Moreover, he could easily kill 2 experts at the 7th level of the profound void tier. The He clan leader and the elders in the room sucked in a breath of cold air, their faces full of shock as they stared at the information in front of them. How is this possible? A 30-year-old expert at the 7th level of the profound void tier. This old man has lived for over 3,000 years, but he hasn't stepped into the 7th level of the profound void tier for long. How did he cultivate at the age of 30? Even if he is from the dragon race, it is impossible for him to have such speed. The burly clan leader widened his eyes and stood up in disbelief. The others were also in a daze. The records on the data can't be wrong. Moreover, the array formations used to detect age are extremely accurate, so there shouldn't be any mistakes. In addition, he has such a young face. The He clan leader's eyes flashed with a surprised glint as he stared at the information in front of him. I've never seen such a monstrous person. Even the legendary god from tens of thousands of years ago isn't this terrifying. I'm afraid that only in the history of the Dragon Clan would such a monstrous person appear. The few clan elders took a deep breath. Yuan did indeed get to know him in the Flowing Sea region, and their relationship is quite good. This time, he came to find Yuan. He should be asking Yuan to help him find that woman. The entire house was silent for a full 5 minutes. The He clan's leader sighed and said in a low voice, "This child is a demon. His future potential is unfathomable. If Yuan that kid can get to know him well, he might be able to benefit him and even our He clan in the future." According to the records, that young man's strength has increased at a terrifying speed. I cannot believe it. The burly clan leader stared at the information in front of him as he spoke, and a trace of bitterness appeared on his face. Thinking back to that night, when he was filled with fighting spirit and wanted to have a good battle with him, in the end, the other party was able to easily kill 2 insightful void martial experts. He also had some understanding of the 2 sword masters of the Towering Sky Sword sect. Sword techniques that were good at killing and powerful combined attacks were considered top-notch among those of the same level. However, they were quickly killed by that young man alone. No wonder that night, even though that young man was surrounded, he didn't have much fear when facing the 4 of them. It was because the other party had such confidence in his own strength. Fortunately, we didn't fall out with him. Moreover, the ones who died were only the 2 outsiders who had submitted to He Feng. That Wang Xian didn't make any ruthless moves either. An elder said slowly, "This matter isn't a bad thing for us. Let He Yuan get along well with him. However, He Yuan clearly doesn't know the strength of that young man. Should we inform him and let him? There's no need to tell him. After all, that Wang Xian is an expert at level 7 of the see-through realm. If we were to tell Yuan, he might feel restrained. Once the relationship between friends becomes complicated, it wouldn't be pure anymore. This time, he came to seek Yuan Heir's help. He owes a favor in the first place." "That's true. Let's keep this matter a secret for the time being. As for He Feng, when he comes out, you have to teach him well." "I know, third grandpa." The He clan leader was chatting with a few clan elders. "He's 30 years old. If he doesn't die halfway, he will definitely reach level 8 of the see-through realm or even reach a higher level." The 3 clan leaders stood up and looked at each other as they exclaimed in astonishment. Such a devilish young man was worthy of their entire He clan's goodwill and even their goodwill. If he could reach a higher level in the future, he would be able to protect the He clan for thousands of years. "I heard that a strong person came to the He clan's forest these few days and had a small conflict with the He clan. However, they didn't get into a fight. It seems to be at a place not far from where we live. TSK. It's a pity that I slept earlier and didn't hear it." Inside Dui Mudajwang's shop, he walked in and told Wang Xian when he heard the discussions outside. "I don't know either." Wang Xian shook his head with a smile. "So, brother Wang Xian, you die this way even when you sleep. Today's harvest is pretty good. Tomorrow is young Master He Yuan's birthday. I want to buy a cool outfit. Even if I can't become a member of young Master He's army, with my looks, I might be able to make a lady fall in love with me. By then, I will be able to achieve great success." Duma de Zhuang was fantasizing about a beautiful future. He pulled Wang Xian with an excited expression and closed the door before walking out. Wang Xian smiled at the side. Duma de Zhuang had many flaws. However, no matter how many flaws he had, it could not hide his narcissistic and optimistic attitude. At this moment, the flow of people was obviously much more than a few days ago. In the surroundings, there were many young men dressed in luxurious clothes. Each of them was tall and lofty, exuding confidence and arrogance. He Yuan's birthday party and the establishment of He Yuan's army attracted the young talents within a radius of hundreds of thousands of kilometers. At least tens of thousands of young men and women rushed over, and they were all young men and women with good strength and talent. To many people, this was an opportunity. Once they succeeded, they would be able to obtain a void interpretation level mount. There were only a few people in the entire vast region who were so generous. On the morning of the second day, Dui de Zhuang dragged Wang Xian into the He clan's forest early in the morning. Quick, let's go there earlier. Let's breathe in the air around the holy tree and see if there are any beauties around. Ha! Dui Dezhuang looked at Wang Xian with excitement. Clap clap. A crisp sound came from Wang Xian's shoulder. On his shoulder, there was a palm-sized little fellow that looked like a tray ant standing on it. Its eyes were glowing as it stared at the holy tree and clapped its hands. TSK, look at how little guy agrees with me. Let's hurry up. Dui Dezhuang looked at the little guy and urged him. Wang Xian nodded and followed behind. The little guy on his shoulder was hatched from the egg that he prepared to give to He Yuan for his birthday last night. To his surprise, after the little guy swallowed his eggshell, his bloodline evolved again. Chapter 1492. 1492 Birthday Party 1492. A ferocious beast with a level 3 see-through bloodline. After being nourished by Wang Xian's immense dragon energy, the level of the bloodline was raised to level 6 of see-through. After it hatched and was born, the inside of its eggshell was also completely nourished by the dragon energy. Surprisingly, it also allowed its bloodline to achieve a breakthrough. A level 7 see-through ferocious beast with a bloodline made him very surprised. The value of a young ferocious beast at level 7 of the see-through realm was extremely terrifying. Even if he were to exchange it with an ordinary dynasty, he might not be able to get it. However, Wang Xian did not care too much about this young ferocious beast. There were more than 16,000 members of the Dragon Palace. All of them were existences with endless potential. Let alone a young beast at level 7 of the see-through realm, even a young beast above level 7 of the see-through realm was nothing to him. Furthermore, the pups needed to be nurtured. To nurture a pup of a level 7 of the see-through realm bloodline demon beast to level 7 of the see-through realm required a terrifying amount of resources. To nurture a pup to level 7 of the see-through realm from a third-rate force in the vast region, they would need to spend at least half of their resources. Therefore, Wang Xian didn't take it to heart. He didn't feel any heartache even if he gave it to He Yuan directly. Furthermore, he wouldn't forcefully upgrade the bloodline of a demonic beast or ferocious beast in the future. It would be too much of a waste of dragon energy. Papa, Ji. The two of them walked towards the place where He Yuan was celebrating his birthday. He Yuan's birthday and the establishment of He Yuan's army made this banquet extremely grand. The venue was located within the He clan, not far from the holy tree. The closer they were to the holy tree, the more abundant the wood attribute spiritual energy was. According to Wang Xian's estimation, the density of the wood attribute was at least 10 times that of the outside world when they stood on the holy tree. This was definitely a terrifying paradise. It was also because of this holy tree that the He tribe was able to stand in the vast region for tens of thousands of years. Little Goody was a wood attribute ferocious beast. The holy tree was very attractive to it, so it became even more excited. Waving its small hands, it had a somewhat green body and green eyes. It looked very cute. The name Little Goody was naturally given to it by One Tree Dezhuang. The surroundings are really beautiful. Walking straight inside, the surrounding flowers and plants were abnormally beautiful. In the sky, there were many houses built in the middle of the two trees. The vines were twining and they were colorful. Ah, that demonic beast cub is so cute. At this moment, a surprised voice came from the side. The two girls from the forest fairy race looked at little rascal who was on Wang Xian's shoulder and exclaimed in surprise. Papa, Ji. Little rascal looked at them. They were both wood-type creatures and were rather close to each other. He called out to them twice. Wow, so cute. The two forest fairies' eyes lit up as they said this. Lone Tree Dezhuang looked at the two beautiful forest fairies who were looking in their direction. He slightly puffed out his big belly. However, when he saw that they weren't looking at him at all, he was slightly dejected. He rolled his eyes. Hee, two beautiful ladies, it's called Little Goody. Dui Dezhuang went over and said with a smile. Is that so? What kind of beast does this fellow belong to? Let's go get one too. The two forest fairy girls glanced at Dui de Zhuang and immediately asked. This is an ancient brown beast, a wood-type beast. Dui de Zhuang replied with a smile. Ancient brown beast? Ancient brown beasts don't look cute at all. How can such a cute little fellow be an ancient brown beast? The two forest spirits looked at little Goody in puzzlement. Mutated, this one is mutated. Dui de Zhuang said with a laugh. Demonic flower, hurry up. Oh. At this moment the voices of the other forest spirits came from the front, and the two forest spirits immediately left. Dui de Zhuang looked at the two leaving figures with some disappointment. After entering the inner area, don't cause any trouble. Otherwise, you will be punished according to the rules of the clan. At this moment, the two of them arrived at an entrance. A middle-aged man's voice rang out. Yes. Dui de Zhuang immediately replied. He sized up the surroundings. There were some young and beautiful women from the forest fairy race. All of them were outstanding young men and women. Today, everyone was dressed exceptionally beautifully. Dui de Zhuang was extremely moved by them. Sigh, brother Wang Xian, speaking of which, I'm almost 40 years old. I haven't achieved anything. I haven't even found a wife at 40 years old. Sigh. All of a sudden, Dui de Zhuang sighed and said to Wang Xian. Speak your mind. Wang Xian shot him a glance and said directly. Hee, brother Wang Xian, you know me well. Can you let me play with little rascal later? No, my thick arms let little rascal stand. Dui de Zhuang said to Wang Xian. All right. Wang Xian saw through his thoughts at a glance and nodded his head. Brother Wang Xian, you're the best. I know that my chance of joining young Master He's army is slim. I'll depend on it today. Dui Zhuang walked to little rascal's side and extended his hand towards it with a wretched expression. Wang Xian commanded little rascal to follow him. Squeak, squeak. Little rascal jumped into Dui de Zhuang's hand unwillingly. Hee. Dui de Zhuang smiled in a wretched manner and gently patted little rascal's head. Wang Xian followed the crowd and arrived at an empty space. This place was about 5 kilometers away from the holy tree. There was a river surrounding it. Today is young Master He Yuan's birthday banquet in the sky. Everyone, go to the location above. A voice prompted. Wang Xian moved his body and flew directly into the sky. At the top of the tree, there was a patch of thorns in the sky with a radius of about 2 kilometers. The thorns were intertwined together and it was very stable. One could stand on it. It was a very beautiful scene in the sky of 700 to 800 meters. There were some tables and chairs as well as some food on it. There were more than 10,000 people here, so it didn't seem crowded. However, what made all the youths excited was that there were 100 fierce beasts lying around. There were all kinds of fierce beasts. The lowest was at the first level of the profound void tier, and the highest was at the third level of the profound void tier. At this moment, there were already several thousand youths who had come here, and they were chatting in groups. There were also many youths who came to the front of the fierce beasts with burning eyes, and they were sizing them up with burning faces. Today, as long as they could succeed, these ferocious beasts could become their mounts. This place is really luxurious and magnificent. TSK, I'm really envious. Dui de Zhuang looked around with a shocked expression. Let's find a place to sit down first. Wang Xian said to him and walked to a seat at the side. He waited there. He poured a cup of tea on the table and sipped it lightly. Tea, brother Wang Xian, how did a young man like you manage to live the life of an old man? I'll go somewhere else. Dui de Zhuang said as he looked around with a wretched gaze. He swayed his fat body as he walked towards the ferocious beasts. Wang Xian looked at him and shook his head. Chapter 1493. 1493 Dragon of 1,493 people. As time passed, more and more people gathered around the birthday banquet venue. All of them were young men from the young elites within a radius of hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Each of the young men was dressed in luxurious clothes. Even though some of them looked a little shabby, there was still a hint of determination on their faces. These young men were either the favored sons of the heavens in a city or the descendants of the various big families in the city. There were very few people below Transcendent Level 6. Other than humans, there were also some demonic beasts, young men and women from the forest fairy race, and some other young men in the form of human-shaped demonic beasts. The entire banquet hall was extremely lively. All the young men were chatting enthusiastically. The man was handsome while the woman was beautiful. Wang Xian leaned against the chair and looked at the tens of thousands of young men in the banquet hall with a smile on his face. From this group of young men, it could be seen that the entire He clan was thriving. He. Dui Dezhuang stuck out his stomach with a smile on his face. He narrowed his eyes and sized up the surroundings. Little Goody was also sizing up the surroundings with a curious look on his shoulder. This combination was filled with a sense of humor. Let's go there. Dui Dezhuang looked around. In the banquet area, the place with the most people was the area around the ferocious beasts. Dui Dezhuang looked at the surroundings of a peacock of light. There were hundreds of people gathered around it, and most of them were beautiful women. His eyes lit up, and he immediately shook his fat body and walked over with narrowed eyes. A second-level void interpretation stage peacock of light, with a fourth-level void interpretation bloodline. If only I could get this ferocious beast to be my mount. It's simply too beautiful. My strength is not inferior to those men. I'm definitely going to get this peacock of light. In the future, I'll be the famous peacock queen, hee. Around this ferocious beast, many girls were talking excitedly. Beautiful things can be pleasing to the eye. This peacock of light is simply too beautiful. Dui Mu Dezhuang walked over and said with a face full of amazement, attracting the attention of the surrounding people. Ha! A few girls who were closer to Dui Dezhuang looked over. When they saw Dui Dezhuang's body, they felt a little disgusted. Papa Gigi. At this moment, Little Goody, who was on Dui Dezhuang's shoulder, stared at the peacock of light and cried out. It widened its eyes and stared curiously. Little Goody, let's see if it's pretty. Although it's pretty, it's not as cute as our Little Goody. Duoka Dezhuang intentionally stretched out his arm to let Little Goody jump over and display it in front of everyone. What a cute little fellow. Aya, it's simply too cute. The surrounding girls' eyes lit up when they saw Little Goody. Cute animals had some powerful lethality to girls. Duoka Dezhuang's eyes revealed a smug look when he heard the cries of surprise from the surrounding. As expected, it was just as he had expected. What kind of fierce beast is this? It looks so cute, and it actually knows how to clap its hands. Yeah, a wood-attributed fierce beast cub. It looks so smart. Little guy, what's your name? Two girls walked over with faces full of love, wanting to stretch out their hands to touch it. It's called Little Goody. Come, Little Goody, let the two beautiful sisters touch it. Lone Tree Dezhuang said to Little Goody with a smile on his face. Squeak, squeak. Little Goody called out and intelligently raised its head to look at the two girls. With a move of its arm, it turned into wisps of twigs and touched the two girls' faces. When Lone Tree Dezhuang saw Little Goody's actions, he was slightly stunned, and his eyes revealed a look of envy. This little family had potential. How Little Goody is so cute, so itchy. The two girls were amused by Little Goody. They couldn't help but reach out their hands. Ah, what a cute fierce beast pet. Yeah, it's simply too cute. And look at how smart it is. What kind of fierce beast pet is this? I want to buy one too. At this moment, Little Goody's cute image and the two exclamations attracted the attention of the surrounding girls. They immediately moved closer to Dui Dezhuang. Come, little guy, I'll give you something good to eat. A girl with a face full of love took out an emerald green bamboo and handed it to Little Goody. Squeak, squeak. Little Goody's eyes immediately lit up and he immediately took it. One of his arms turned into a branch and slowly rubbed against the girl's face. Wow, so cute. The girl's face revealed a look of love. Little Goody held onto the bamboo with his other hand and started to eat it bite by bite. Little guy, are you eating spirit stones? The surrounding girls looked at him and took out a spirit stone with envy. Squeak, squeak. Little Goody didn't reject anything. He used his hand to touch the girl's face and directly swallowed the spirit stone. Ah, isn't it too cute? I still have more, I still have more. One by one, the girls took out spirit stones and some pills and handed them to Little Rascal. One by one, it stretched out its arm and turned it into a branch, gently brushing every girl that gave it food. This action undoubtedly made some of the girls' faces full of joy. Many of the girls who came here were from large clans in the city. Their families were good, and each of them wasn't stingy with spirit stones to feed Little Rascal. Soon, more than 10 girls gathered around Dui Dezhuang. Ladies, don't be anxious, don't be anxious. If you want to see Little Rascal, don't crowd around. Aya, Beauty, you are so caring, so beautiful. Beauty, don't lean on me. Dui Dezhuang's goal had been achieved. He stood there with a gentlemanly face and sniffed around. Some of the girls were even pressed against his body, which made him feel extremely pleased. Dui Dezhuang's lower body was stiff, and his face was filled with a smile. At this moment, a dozen girls walked over from the side. When they saw that there were dozens of girls gathered here, they would occasionally exclaim, causing the girl in the middle to be slightly stunned and look over curiously. What a clever vicious beast cub. That girl's face revealed a surprised expression. Yes, Sister Tanqing, what a cute little fellow. The few girls next to her looked over, and they also looked over with fondness. Sisters, can you let me take a look? The girl hesitated for a moment, and said to the group of girls gathered in front. Oh, Miss Tianqing. Miss Tianqing, come and take a look. The entire ferocious beast cub is very cute. The woman named Tianqing clearly had quite a reputation. The women all made way for her. What a beautiful lady. Come, Little Goody, wave your hand. A hint of surprise flashed across Lone Tree Dezhuang's eyes when he saw the woman walk in. He said with a smile. Squeak, squeak. Little Rascal ate one spirit stone after another happily. Then he stretched out his hand and waved it. How cute. Moreover, the level of your bloodline shouldn't be low either. A smile appeared on Tianqing's face. Then she stretched out her hand and handed a pill to Little Rascal. Handsome, can you sell this savage beast cub? Name a price. Chapter 1494. 1494 Dragon 2 out of 1,494 people. Tianqing's call of a handsome man struck the heart of Dui Mu Dezhuang, making him feel comfortable all over. However, the last sentence was obviously impossible. Little Goody was not his, so how could he have the right to sell it? I'm sorry, Beauty, I'm not selling it. I'm really sorry. Dui Mu Dezhuang said to the woman. That's such a pity. Seeing that Lone Wood Dezhuang rejected her without hesitation, she shook her head in disappointment and reached out her hand to tease him for a while. Before leaving, she asked again. After Lone Wood Dezhuang rejected her again, she left in disappointment. Hey, beautiful ladies, don't squeeze, don't squeeze. If anyone really likes Little Goody, we can leave a way to communicate. Tianqing left, and Dui Dezhuang was once again surrounded by a group of girls who were overflowing with love. At this time, Dui Dezhuang revealed his purpose. Leaving a way to communicate, he would have a good in-depth exchange in the future. If he could marry a girl from a large family, then he would be rich. Dui Dezhuang was in the middle of the group of girls, talking to each of the girls with a face full of enjoyment. He was chatting cheerfully, wiping his saliva from time to time. I forgot to ask what kind of ferocious beast cub it is. If there's a chance, ask father to buy one for me. Tianqing turned around to look at Dui Dezhuang and shook her head. What's troubling our Miss Tianqing? At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. The group of girls looked in the direction of the voice. 20 to 30 young men were walking towards them. The leader was a slightly flirtatious young man dressed in red. His handsome smile and frivolous smile were very attractive to girls. It's nothing. I just met someone I like. Gong Sunning, are you going to join young Master He Yuan's army today? Tianqing shook her head slightly and asked the young man. Yes, I'm going to join young Master He Yuan's army. This is a good opportunity for me. Gong Sunning said with a smile. With Gong Sunning's strength, no one can beat him in the whole field. I believe Gong Sunning can become the commander of young Master He Yuan's army. A few girls next to him said to Gong Sunning in a fawning manner. Thank you for your kind words. Gong Sunning said with a smile. I'll go there and wait for Princess Yao Yao and the others. You guys talk first. Tianqing said with a smile and left. Obviously, she didn't have any good impression of Gong Sunning. Miss Tianqing, you guys go first. I'll go right now. Gong Sunning wanted to go with her, but he hesitated and said with a smile. As he watched Tianqing leave, his eyes flickered. Young Master Gongsun, I believe that you will be able to capture Miss Tianqing's heart in no time. A young man beside Gong Sunning said with a smile. Of course. Gong Sunning smiled, his eyes flickering with confidence. He, Gong Sunning, was the most outstanding young man other than the chosen disciples of the He clan. He had the strength of a peak-stage profound void martial artist. Among the subordinate forces of the He clan, his Gongsun clan was also considered a top-notch force. Within the same generation, no one could compare to him, Gong Sunning. What did Miss Tianqing want just now? As Gong Sunning spoke, his gaze turned towards the group of girls clustered around him. His eyes flickered. Oh, let's go take a look. The group of youths looked over and their gazes landed on little rascal. It should be this cute vicious beast cub. The group of youths thought to themselves. However, at the last position behind Gong Sunning and the others, young Master Dumo looked at Dumo Dezhuang, who was surrounded in the middle with a stunned expression. This guy. His expression changed as he said. Dumo Jiang, you know that kid? The youth at the side heard his voice and asked in surprise. I know him, he's my younger brother. Dumo Jiang didn't dare to hide anything when he heard the youth's question and said with a sullen face. The youth at the side wasn't someone he could offend. Oh, really? The youth's eyes reflected light. Dumo Jiang, if you can bring that vicious beast cub in your younger brother's hands over to young Master Gongsun, young Master Gongsun will be happy and won't be short of your benefits in the future. Moreover, I won't be short of your benefits, brother Dumo Jiang. Really? Dumo Jiang was slightly taken aback. His eyes revealed a hint of excitement as he hurriedly asked. Of course. The young man patted his shoulder and nodded. Big brother Zhou, to be honest, this little brother of mine wouldn't dare not give me what I want. Wait for me, I'll bring it to you in a minute. Dumo Jiang said as he walked towards Dumo Dezhuang confidently. When the young man saw this scene, his face was filled with excitement. He hurriedly walked to Gong Sunning's side and said softly, Oh, not bad, not bad. When Gong Sunning heard the young man's report, he said to him with a face full of praise. It's my honor to be able to do something for young Master Gongsun. The young man said with a face full of smiles. Dui Dezhuang, come here. Dui Jiang looked at Dui Dezhuang, who was full of joy, and shouted with a cold face. Ha! Dui Dezhuang, who was surrounded by a group of girls, was slightly stunned. He looked over with a face full of astonishment, and his face was slightly embarrassed. Ladies, I'm sorry. He squeezed out a smile and walked out of the group of girls. Big brother, what's the matter? Dumo Dezhuang walked over with a somewhat embarrassed expression. Give me this ferocious beast cub on your body. Jiang said directly with a somewhat impatient expression and reached out his hand to grab little rascal. Big brother, what are you doing? Jiang was slightly stunned and hurriedly took a step back. He stared at him and asked with an embarrassed expression. You're giving it to me just because I asked you to? Have you grown a pair of wings? Jiang glared at him with a cold expression. Little rascal isn't mine. It belongs to a friend of mine. Jiang shook his head and said with a slightly unpleasant expression. I don't care if it belongs to your friend. Give it to me. Tell your friend. Jiang ignored him and reached out his hand to grab little rascal again. No, I'm going to send little rascal to my friend. As Jiang spoke, he quickly turned around and walked towards Wang Xian's seat. Huh? Jiang was slightly taken aback. When he saw that Wang Xian dared to reject him, his expression turned cold instantly. Jiang, if you don't want to die, send it to me immediately. He growled in a low voice. However, Jiang ignored him and walked towards Wang Xian. This made Jiang's eyes burn with anger. What's wrong? At this moment, Gong Sun Ning's voice came from behind, causing Jiang's face to stiffen. Jiang, what's going on? Didn't you say that you could bring it over in a minute? Following that, the young man's somewhat angry voice was heard. This caused Jiang's expression to change slightly. Big brother Zhou, young master Gong Sun. He hurriedly turned his head and revealed an apologetic smile on his face. That vicious beast's cub belongs to this younger brother's friend. Just that friend of his, if I go over, I can directly ask for it. I'll go over right now. Chapter 1495. 1495 Dragon of 1495 People 3. At the birthday banquet venue, Jiang stared at Zhuang's back with a gloomy face as he walked towards Jiang. At the back, Gong Sun Ning and the others looked at Jiang with faint smiles on their faces. They didn't pay too much attention to Jiang. Speaking of which, Gong Sun Ning didn't know Jiang at all. He could only be considered as a little brother's little brother's little brother. His little brother's friend wouldn't be anyone with any background. It would be a piece of cake to take the young ferocious beast from their hands. Everyone followed behind Jiang and walked forward leisurely. In the surroundings, young men greeted Gong Sun Ning respectfully from time to time. Gong Sun Ning, who was dressed in red, became a small focal point in the entire banquet hall. Some people would look at him from time to time and discuss in low voices. Brother Wang Xian. At this moment, Zhuang, who was walking towards Wang Xian's seat, felt his brother following behind him. He sped up with an embarrassed expression and shouted at Wang Xian. What's wrong? Didn't you enjoy yourself just now? Are you being targeted by a pervert? Wang Xian looked at the flustered Zhuang and teased him with a smile on his face. Brother Wang Xian, stop joking around. Little rascal, go over quickly. That brother of mine wants to take little rascal away. I didn't agree and he followed me here. As Zhuang spoke, little rascal jumped onto Wang Xian and squeaked. That brother of yours. Wang Xian pinched little rascal's belly and looked up at the back. Zhuang, let's see if you are itching for trouble. At this moment, Zhuang's voice was heard. This made Zhuang shrink his head. He forced a smile and turned his head around. Big brother, this ferocious beast cub is really not mine. However, Jiang slapped him on the head instead. Zhuang didn't dare to speak. He stood at the side with an apologetic smile. You're a dead thing. How can you have any friends? He said with a frosty expression as he looked ahead. Hee. However, when he met Wang Xian's smile, his expression suddenly froze and kept changing. What? Are you going to snatch my things? Wang Xian looked at Jiang indifferently. Gulp. Jiang gulped as a hint of fear appeared in his eyes. He remembered what happened on the airship very clearly. This young man in front of him was definitely not someone he could provoke. For a moment, Jiang stood there and his expression kept changing. Dumajiang, what are you doing? An impatient voice came from behind. Dumajiang turned his head and looked behind him. He walked over with an embarrassed expression. Brother Zhou, young Master Gong's son, that ferocious beast cub belongs to that young man. He is very strong. Dumajiang stammered. All right. Gong's son Ning waved his hand at him and walked straight towards Wang Xian. The young man at the side glared at Dumajiang, his face full of dissatisfaction. Young master, I am Gong's son Ning. I wonder if you can part with your little pet. I can buy it at a high price. Gong's son Ning raised his head slightly and walked to a spot about 5 meters in front of Wang Xian. He looked at Wang Xian with a smile. You can't afford it. Wang Xian glanced at Gong's son Ning and said faintly. Squeak squeak. Little rascal, who was at the side, glared at him and bared his fangs and brandished his claws. Huh. Gong's son Ning was slightly taken aback. A look of astonishment appeared on his face before he started to laugh. Hee, this young master sure knows how to joke. I can't afford it? There are things that I, Gong's son Ning, can't afford? He smiled and his expression slowly turned cold as he stared at Wang Xian. Not for sale. Wang Xian drank a cup of tea and said indifferently, Kid, our Gong's son young master wants to buy your things to give you face. Give us a price. Don't be ungrateful. When the few young men behind Gong's son Ning saw Wang Xian's merciless rejection, they threatened him with cold faces. Wang Xian didn't bother with them at all. He took out a spirit stone and placed it in front of Little Goody. Crack, crack, crack. Little Goody bit the spirit stone and let out a crisp sound, as if it was a silent mockery. When Dui Dezhuang saw this scene, a bitter expression appeared on his face. He didn't even bother with the young master of the He clan and the brothers of the Forest Spirits Princess, Wang Xian, let alone these few people. However, Wang Xian ignored him. This made Gong's son Ning's face turn even colder. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Wang Xian. Then he walked over slowly. The group of young men followed closely behind him. They stared at Wang Xian coldly. Brother, are you not giving me face? Gong's son Ning walked to a meter in front of Wang Xian slowly. He stared at Wang Xian from above and looked down at him coldly. Scram. Wang Xian glanced at Gong's son Ning indifferently and said coldly. Hee, interesting. No one has ever dared to tell me to scram. Then, what if I don't scram? A sinister smile appeared on Gong's son Ning's face as he stared at Wang Xian expressionlessly. But when Wang Xian heard his words, he gently put down the tea cover in his hand. A gray fist appeared directly on Gong's son Ning's chest and attacked him. What? Gong's son Ning's expression changed drastically. The intense pain in his chest made him spit out blood uncontrollably. His body flew backward. You actually dared to ambush Gong's son Ning. You're courting death. The faces of the young men behind Gong's son Ning changed drastically. They hurriedly stretched out their hands to catch Gong's son Ning. However, the powerful force caused their bodies to continuously retreat backwards. Peng. The group of youths retreated to a table over 10 meters away, and a loud sound rang out, attracting the attention of the surrounding crowd. What's the situation? There seems to be a conflict. It's Gong's son Ning Gongzi. Gong's son Ning Gongzi actually spat out fresh blood from his mouth. Who injured him? Who has the strength to do so? The people around were slightly shocked. They looked over in surprise. Who? You actually dared to sneak attack me. Gong's son Ning wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He felt embarrassed when he felt the attention of the people around him. You're courting death. His vital energy and blood rushed to his head. His figure moved and he attacked Wang Xian directly. Ant. Wang Xian waved his arm. A grayish energy attacked Gong's son Ning again at a terrifying speed. Bang! Gong's son Ning, who had just rushed over, didn't even have time to react before he was struck in the chest again. A powerful force caused him to spit out blood again. His body was sent flying backward. This time he landed heavily on the ground. His eyes widened in disbelief. He was Gong Sun-ning after all. Other than the young master of the He clan, he was the #1 heaven's favorite within a radius of more than 100,000 kilometers. Now, he was actually easily defeated. Chapter 1496. 1496 Dragon 4 out of 1496. What? Gong Sun-ning is actually not a match for that young man. He was defeated in one move. That young man's strength is so terrifying. He actually dared to make a move at young Master He Yuan's birthday banquet. Is he courting death? So what if he makes a move? That young man was able to defeat Gong Sun-ning, and his strength is at least at the peak of the first level of the profound void tier. With young Master He Yuan's breadth of mind, he might even admire him very much and make him join the army, becoming the commander of the army. Sounds of shock could be heard from the surroundings. Most of the people present were clear of Gong Sun-ning's strength. Among the younger generation, the only ones who could suppress him were the He clan's disciples. Yet now, he was actually easily defeated by someone. This young man who suddenly appeared out of nowhere had monstrous talent. This time, he would definitely be able to join young Master He Yuan's army. HM? What formidable strength! Looks like he should be one of the strong contenders for the position of commander of young Master He Yuan's army this time. Not far away, Miss Tianqing and the others looked in their direction with a surprised expression on their faces. Princess Yao Yao is here. Some young elites of the Forest Yao Yao race are here. That beauty should be He Suiqing of the He Suiqing family, young Master He Yuan's fiancée. Hiss, Princess Yao Yao, Miss He Suiqing of the He Suiqing family of the first-class family, and the elites of the Forest Yao Yao race are all here. At this moment, a group of more than 10 figures at the entrance attracted everyone's attention. They didn't even pay attention to what was happening here. Princess Yao Yao walked with a woman in the center of the group of more than 10 figures. The elites of the Forest Yao Yao clan were on both sides of the group. The woman was wearing a pink dress and a shiny necklace around her neck. She was dressed very nobly. The woman was chatting with Lin Yao Yao in a low voice with a smile on her face. The group of people walked forward and made way for them. However, when they walked forward, they suddenly saw Gong Sun-ning lying on the ground and spitting out blood. This made Lin Yao Yao and He Suiqing slightly stunned. What's going on? A young man from the Forest Yao Yao clan frowned and looked at Gong Sun-ning on the ground, asking coldly. It's nothing. Princess Yao Yao, Miss He Suiqing, it's nothing. I just had a simple exchange with someone. Gong Sun-ning hurriedly stood up and endured the intense pain in his body, smiling with a pale face. He dared to be arrogant in front of the others, but he didn't dare to be arrogant in front of Princess Lin Yao Yao and Miss He Suiqing. A single word from the two of them could wipe out their entire family. Gong Sun-ning, your strength is one of the best among the younger generation in the area of the Forest Ancestors' land. How could you be defeated so easily? A young man from the Forest Yao Yao race smiled and asked curiously. I was ambushed. I wasn't prepared. Gong Sun-ning braced himself and glanced at Wang Xian's position. His eyes were filled with anger as he spoke. He had lost a lot of face today. Lin Yao Yao and the rest followed Gong Sun-ning's gaze and looked over. Gong Sun-ning could definitely be considered a heaven's favorite. Someone who could defeat him must be a talent that could be molded. A surprised voice came from Lin Yao Yao and He Suiqing. Lin Yao Yao looked at the young man sitting there in surprise. He looked very familiar. He Suiqing looked at little rascal curiously. Pipi. Seeing that someone was staring at him, little rascal also raised his head and patted him. He looked unusually cute. What a cute little fellow. He Suiqing stared at little goody with a doting heart. She couldn't help but walk over. Lin Yao Yao saw He Suiqing walking over and frowned slightly. She followed closely behind and curled her lips at Wang Xian before following him immediately. What a cute little fellow. Is this your pet? He Sui-ching walked over and brought along a fragrant scent. She stared at little Goody with a face full of affection and asked Wang Xian's, "This guy's luck is really good." He actually caught the attention of Miss He Sui-ching. I'm really envious. If I had known earlier, I would have gotten a cute pet too. As long as that young man fawns over Miss He Sui-ching a little, that kid will be rich in the future. That's right. Miss He Sui-ching is the most beloved daughter of the He Sui-ching family head. Furthermore, she is going to marry young Master He Yuan in the future. As long as Miss He Sui-ching says the word, that kid will have a bright future. As long as he hands that pet to Miss He Sui-ching, young Master He Yuan will owe him a favor in the future. Oh my God! When the crowd saw He Sui-ching walking towards Wang Xian and looking at the pet with a face full of love, they were all envious. Even Gong Sun-ning was looking at it with a face full of envy and passion. How great would it be if that pet was his? Miss He Sui-ching, her status was much higher than Princess Lin Yaoyao's. Once she fawned on her, she would have a bright future. Okay. Wang Xian took a glance at He Sui-ching. Hearing the discussions around him, he took a few more glances. He Yuan's fiancé, not bad, not bad. Can you sell this pet to me, or can I exchange it with something? He Sui-ching looked at little rascal with some fondness and couldn't help but ask. At the side, Lin Yaoyao stared at Wang Xian. She had a deep impression of this young man. After all, he was the only one who dared to reject him. When she saw that He Sui-ching wanted to buy his pet, she looked at him curiously. I'm sorry, I'm not selling it. Wang Xian shook his head without any hesitation. He Sui-ching was stunned. Everyone around was stunned as well. Dui Dezhuang covered his face with his hand and walked to Wang Xian's side hurriedly. Brother Wang Xian, Miss He Sui-ching, the eldest daughter of the first-class He Sui-ching family, the fiancée of young Master He Yuan. Her future status is honorable. Uncle, you should think about it carefully. Dui Dezhuang said to Wang Xian with a flushed face. Once he gave the pet to this young lady, he would be rich. Damn it. These few days, when he saw Wang Xian's temper, he was a little afraid. When He Sui-ching heard that Wang Xian rejected him directly, she was obviously stunned. She didn't expect that this young man would reject her. Your strength is not bad. If you give this pet to me, I will ask Xiao Yuan to make you the commander. How about that? If it really doesn't work, I'll give you some more things. He Sui-ching said with a frown. Who? When the surrounding youths heard He Sui-ching's words, their breathing quickened, and their eyes shone with a fiery luster. Commander, what did they come here for? To join young Master He Yuan's army. Now Miss He Sui-ching directly promised him a corps leader. This was simply a meteoric rise. Everyone knew what this corps leader meant in the future. Not to mention, there were some other things. Not for sale. However, to everyone's astonishment, the cold voice of refusal came again. Chapter 1497. 1497 The Dragon of 1,497 People. In the banquet venue, Wang Xian's cold voice resounded in everyone's ears. The thousands of young men gathered around him. The envious expression on their faces froze as they stared at Wang Xian in disbelief. He actually rejected. He rejected the position of a corps leader and the benefits of He Sui-ching's promise. He turned down the opportunity to rise to the top. Everyone widened their eyes and stared at Wang Xian in disbelief. Even He Sui-ching was stunned. He stared at Wang Xian with a slightly unsightly expression. She didn't understand why this young man would turn down the offer that she had promised such a high level of benefits to a young man. This condition of hers was something that many young men could only wish for. However, he rejected it just like that. Was it because he had confidence in his own strength and was confident that he could become the commander of the army, or? However, he didn't think so. This was because as long as he informed He Yuan, he would never have the chance to become the commander of the army. This fellow. Lin Yaoyao, who was at the side, stared at Wang Xian with some annoyance. This fellow. The last time he asked him to help him sculpt, he didn't agree to it. Now, when the eldest daughter of the He Sui family bought his pet, he rejected it directly. Hey, why are you so unappreciative? You came here to join Brother He Yuan's army. You are so unethical and still want to join Brother He Yuan's army? Lin Yaoyao glared at Wang Xian and pouted her lips as she spoke to him. Wang Xian looked at Lin Yaoyao and He Sui Qing, who were a little angry, and shook his head slowly. I didn't come here to join the He Yuan army. This pet cub is a gift from me. Miss He Sui Qing, Sister Yaoyao, are you guys here early? Just as Wang Xian was about to explain to He Sui Qing and the rest, a loud laughter suddenly rang out. It attracted everyone's attention and interrupted Wang Xian's words. The loud laughter was accompanied by a terrifying pressure. This was the pressure of a powerhouse at level 3 of the void interpretation stage. When He Sui Qing, Lin Yaoyao, and the others heard this voice and the pressure, they looked in the direction of the holy tree in shock. The group of over 20 people was led by a young man dressed in white with a dragon embroidered on his chest. This was a green dragon that was well known on the transcendental continent. 2 huge wings spread out, and it had a ferocious head and a huge mouth. The belly was a little fat, and there was a long tail. The entire clothing made the young man look even more domineering. The young man was He Feng. He Feng, the other monstrous genius of the He clan. Although his talent was not that great, he had broken through to the 2nd level of the profound void tier at the age of 50 and was ranked among the top geniuses in the vast region. His current age was only 53 years old. Because his appearance looked incomparably young, there was not much difference between him and a young man. He Feng's strength. He Sui Qing and Lin Yaoyao immediately turned around, and a trace of shock flashed across their eyes. 3rd level of the profound void tier. Young Master He Feng's strength has actually broken through to the 3rd level of the profound void tier. How is this possible? It has only been 3 years, but young Master He Feng's strength has actually broken through. A young man from the Forest Fairy clan stared in shock at He Feng, who was flying over, exclaiming. After reaching the insightful void realm, he was still able to raise a level in 3 years. It was simply heaven-defying. The advancement above the insightful void realm was extremely difficult. What? Young Master He Feng's strength has actually broken through, my God. Broken through, He Feng's strength has actually broken through. This 3rd level of the insightful void realm, young Master He Feng, is completely a dragon among men. Dragon among men, He Feng is a dragon among men. When the surrounding youths heard the exclamation, they were shocked. The dragon among men was a great title and honor for humans. This title came from the Draconid Empire. In the Draconid Empire, as long as a young man reached the 3rd rank of the profound void realm before the age of 55, he would be invited to join the Draconid Dragon Combat Division. The Dragon Combat Division was established by the Draconid Empire according to the maturity of the dragon race. The dragon race, when they were born to the age of 55, would normally grow and eat. Their bloodline power could allow them to reach the 3rd level of the profound void tier. And when humans could reach the 3rd level of the profound void tier before the age of 55, they could completely be called the dragon among men. This title represented great honor, strength, and talent. Even in the Draconid Empire, there weren't many who could reach the 3rd level of the profound void tier before the age of 55. Now that He Feng had become a dragon among men, how could it not be shocking? In the He clan's current generation, there were 2 people who had a chance of inheriting the position of clan leader. One was He Yuan. The other was He Feng. Now that he had become a dragon among men, the possibility of him inheriting the position of clan leader in the future was much greater. It could be said that He Yuan was a great competitor for the position of clan leader in the future. Young Master He Feng, did you break through? He Sui Qing's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness as she asked He Feng. I just broke through by luck. He Feng and a group of young disciples from the He clan flew over. He Feng's face revealed an arrogant expression as he spoke arrogantly. Congratulations, congratulations. He Sui-Ching squeezed out a trace of a smile as she congratulated. He Feng could be considered a competitor of her fiancé He Yuan. Now that he had broken through, it was a great pressure for He Yuan. Today is both brother He Yuan's birthday and the day of my breakthrough. It really is a double blessing. He Feng laughed out loud and said with a smile on his face. His words were filled with pride and self-satisfaction. It had been a long time since a dragon among men had appeared in the entire Lin clan. After becoming a dragon among men, he also had the qualifications to contend with his monstrous younger brother. All the surrounding youths looked at He Feng in shock, their eyes filled with respect. What's going on? Are there still people sparring here? He Feng appeared and instantly became the focal point of the entire arena. At this moment, a core disciple of the He clan beside him saw Gong Sun Ning, whose chest was covered in blood and was emitting a faint bloody aura, and asked with a face full of curiosity. Yes, young master He Feng. I'm sparring with a youth, and my skills are inferior to his. Gong Sun Ning said hurriedly. It's not good to make a big fuss at our He Yuan brother's birthday party. However, we are very curious about the person who could defeat you, Gong Sun Ning. He Bing said to Gong Sun Ning with a face full of curiosity. He was very familiar with Gong Sun Ning and his strength was even stronger than his. He didn't expect that there was actually a young man who could defeat him. It's that young man. Gong Sun Ning looked at Wang Xian with some embarrassment. He squeezed out a smile and said, It's that annoying fellow. At this moment, Lin Yaoyao, who was standing at the side, also looked at Wang Xian and snorted coldly with a displeased expression. He Feng looked over and was stunned when he saw Wang Xian. He narrowed his eyes slightly. Chapter 1498. 1498. I will definitely kill you. At the venue of the birthday party, Lin Yaoyao glared at Wang Xian with a displeased expression. She was extremely displeased with this fellow. Last time, she merely asked him to carve something for her. In the end, the other party completely ignored her. This time, He Sui-Ching wanted to buy one of his pets, but he rejected it directly. As the princess of the forest goblin race, she was extremely displeased. Upon hearing the words of the forest goblin, everyone looked at Wang Xian once again. They knew that the guy in front of them was an idiot for rejecting Miss He Sui-Ching. He Feng stared at Wang Xian and narrowed his eyes slightly. These two guys didn't even do a good job. He Feng was a little unhappy. Before he entered the holy tree, he had instructed two of his subordinates to get rid of this kid in front of him. Now that he didn't see the two guys and didn't get rid of this kid, it made him unhappy. Yao, did this guy make you unhappy again? He Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at Lin Yaoyao who was at the side. He asked gently. No, Sister He Sui-Ching wanted to buy his pet cub just now. She promised him a lot of benefits, but he rejected her outright. Oh right, he also said that he didn't come to join brother He Yuan's army. Lin Yaoyao didn't have a good impression of this extremely cold Wang Xian. She snorted softly. Oh, he didn't come to join brother He Yuan's army. He even injured someone here? Is he here to cause trouble? He Feng looked at Wang Xian indifferently with a hint of coldness in his eyes. How dare you cause trouble at brother He Yuan's banquet? I think you don't want to live anymore. The few He clan's disciples behind He Feng looked at Wang Xian coldly and said coldly. A young man dared to reject Miss He Sui-Ching and Princess Lin Yaoyao. Naturally, they wouldn't give him a good look. No, we are not here to cause trouble. Dui Dezhuang, who was standing at the side, saw the young masters of the He clan staring at Wang Xian. He broke out in cold sweat. He quickly stepped forward and said, Huh. He Feng and the rest looked at Dui Dezhuang with cold eyes. He lowered his head with a face full of fear and stood there motionlessly. Wang Xian looked at Dui Dezhuang and smiled. This fellow was quite loyal. He even dared to step forward at this moment. He swept his gaze across the He clan's disciples, but his expression did not change at all. When everyone around saw Wang Xian sitting there nonchalantly, ignoring He Feng and the rest, they were stunned. Even He Suiqing and Lin Yaoyao were slightly taken aback. Especially Lin Yaoyao. When she saw Wang Xian's familiar cold expression, she gritted her teeth. This fellow's disdainful look made her look extremely displeased. He wasn't the only one who was unhappy. When He Feng saw Wang Xian's nonchalant look again, a murderous intent shot out from his eyes. Last time, it was because of this fellow's attitude that he sent people to kill him directly. However, he didn't know why this fellow was still alive. But this time, since someone is courting death, I shall grant him his wish. He Feng puffed out his chest slightly and looked down at Wang Xian. The dragon on his chest looked a little ferocious and terrifying. Young Master He Feng, this is... Everyone was slightly shocked when they heard He Feng's words. Following that, they stared at Wang Xian as if they were looking at a dead man. This fellow was really courting death. He Suiqing and Lin Yaoyao, who were at the side, frowned when they heard his words. However, they did not say anything. You? Wang Xian raised his head and stared at He Feng with slight disdain. He Feng was the one who sent people to assassinate him the last time. He knew very well that he didn't come to settle the score with him, so he came to look for him again. Even if he couldn't kill him due to He Yuan and the He clan's reputation, he could still teach him a lesson. Me? Ha, good. How interesting. Someone actually dares to say such words to me. When He Feng heard Wang Xian's words, he laughed maniacally as a hint of killing intent slowly emerged from his body. This fellow is really arrogant. Based on our big brother He Feng? Big brother He Feng is a dragon among men. Is he trying to provoke young Master He Feng? How many dog lives does this fellow have? My God, is there something wrong with this fellow's brain? Not to mention young Master He Feng's status, just based on young Master He Feng's talent as a dragon among men, it would be a piece of cake to kill him. When the surrounding people heard Wang Xian's provocative words, they discussed in astonishment. They looked at Wang Xian as if he was an idiot. A guy actually dared to say such words to young Master He Feng. He actually dared to provoke the dragon among men, He Feng. How many dog lives did he have? Around them, tens of thousands of young men looked over and looked at Wang Xian with slight disdain. When Gong Sun Ning saw such an arrogant Wang Xian, his eyes revealed a look of excitement. To dare to provoke young Master He Feng like this, no one could save him today. Today, if I, He Feng, don't kill you, I won't have to stay in the He clan anymore. After He Feng laughed out loud, his face revealed a hint of coldness. With a slight movement of his palm, a staff appeared in his hand. Hiss! When everyone around saw He Feng preparing to make a move, they all took a deep breath. Everyone knew that He Feng was furious. In front of so many people, he dared to provoke He Feng. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't let him off. Furthermore, Wang Xian had made the first move to injure someone. Even if he had to kill him, the He clan would have a reason and wouldn't blame He Feng. Young Master He Yuan is here. At this moment, a voice rang out. Everyone was slightly stunned. They turned around and looked at the holy tree. Ha! He Yuan's loud laughter rang out. He was dressed in a green robe and looked energetic and dashing. He looked at the banquet venue happily. He swept his gaze across and shouted loudly, "Brother Wang Xian came from afar. Why aren't you staying in the He clan to wait for me? You are really ungrateful." He shouted with a smile on his face. Wang Xian's arrival was told to him by his father. However, the He clan leader didn't tell him too much. It was just as the He clan's higher-ups had thought. Friends would be better if they were just friends. They didn't want He Yuan to feel pressured. As He Yuan's only good friend, he was naturally very happy that Wang Xian was able to come to his birthday party. He couldn't help but shout out loud with laughter. He Yuan's cheerful greeting stunned everyone around him. Who was Wang Xian? Even He Suiqing, who was his fiancée, was stunned. She didn't know who this Wang Xian was. I heard that you were in closed-door cultivation. So I didn't disturb you. Wang Xian smiled when he saw He Yuan flying over. In the tomb of the demi-human, his relationship with Long Xiaotian and He Yuan was indeed quite good. He was also the only few good friends he had since he came to the supernatural continent. We haven't seen each other for more than 2 years. I was planning to go to the Flowing Sea region to have some fun with you. When Wang Xian's voice rang out, everyone was stunned. Following that, they saw young Master He Yuan flying over happily. He landed beside Wang Xian and gave him a big hug. Chapter 1499. 1499 Sanction. Brother Wang Xian, I haven't seen you for 2 years. You haven't changed at all. He Yuan patted Wang Xian's shoulder happily and laughed out loud. You haven't changed either. You even found a wife. Wang Xian patted He Yuan's shoulder with a smile. You two have met. I'm not as good as your brother. He Yuan winked at Wang Xian, implying that he had a few wives. Wang Xian smiled. He had not seen his friend for more than 2 years. Now that they had met again, he felt closer to him. Come, Xiaoqing, let me introduce you to my good brother who I made friends with in the Luhai district. This brother of mine is very powerful. Even I was convinced by him back then. I didn't expect this brother of mine to be able to come today on my birthday. I'm very happy. He Yuan looked at He Sui-Ching with a smile on his face. Then he looked at Wang Xian happily. Brother Wang Xian, let me introduce you. This is my fiancé, He Sui-Ching. Stunned, shocked, dumbfounded. Everyone around, including He Sui-Ching, looked at him with a confused expression. They had never expected that this young man who dared to provoke young Master He Feng, who dared to reject Miss He Sui-Ching, was actually young Master He Yuan's good brother. Moreover, judging from young Master He Yuan's happy expression, it was obvious that the two of them had a good relationship. I didn't expect this young master to be the brother of Xiao Yuan. No wonder he has such a personality. It was my fault for what happened just now. Young Master Wang Xian, I'm really sorry. He Sui-Ching reacted quickly. He bowed to Wang Xian with a smile on his face to express his apology. What's wrong? He Yuan asked in surprise. Nothing. Just now, your fiancé wanted to buy a pet cup from me. I didn't agree to it. Later, I wanted to say that this was a gift for you, but I was interrupted. It's nothing. Wang Xian nodded at He Sui-Ching and explained with a smile. He Sui-Ching also smiled. Just now, Wang Xian was interrupted by He Feng when he was talking. However, this Wang Xian was his fiancé's brother. Furthermore, he wanted to give the pet cub to He Yuan. When that happened, he could ask He Yuan to come over. Fortunately, he didn't have any conflict with him. He Sui-Ching thought to himself. So what if he's here? What's the point of giving him a gift? When He Yuan heard that, he burst into laughter. He was in a great mood. Dui Zhuang, who was standing at the side, raised his head and stared at Wang Xian with his eyes wide open in disbelief. Thigh. He mumbled as his eyes lit up. Everyone around was also looking at Wang Xian in shock. No wonder he rejected He Sui-Ching directly and dared not to give young Master He Feng face. It turned out that he had such a good relationship with young Master He Yuan. However, compared to the shock of the people around him, He Feng, who was standing there, had an unsightly expression. Just now, he had said something. Today, if I, He Feng, don't kill you, I won't have to stay in the He clan anymore. However, such a sudden change made his expression change. That young man was a friend of his younger brother, He Yuan, so what did he say? His expression kept changing and slowly, his expression turned cold. He knew that he wasn't weaker than He Yuan, and now he had become a dragon among men. It wasn't certain who would be the future clan leader, and he didn't need to give in to He Yuan. When it was time for him to be strong, he had to be strong. Otherwise, the other members of the He clan would think that he was easy to bully and that he was inferior to He Yuan. Brother He Yuan, this friend of yours is really arrogant. He is really undisciplined. At this moment, He Feng raised his head slightly and stared at Wang Xian with a cold expression. The moment he said that, the surrounding instantly fell silent. Everyone took a deep breath and stared at He Feng in astonishment. Even the disciples of the He clan stared at him with sparkling eyes. They could faintly guess that this time, He Feng would probably become stronger. The words that He Feng had just released and the provocation that the young man had issued. Now, just because he was a friend of He Yuan, He Feng did not care. In everyone's eyes, He Feng was a little afraid of He Yuan. Although their relationship wasn't bad, sometimes, what needed to be fought for still needed to be fought for. He Feng, who had become a dragon among men, had the right to do so. Big brother, what are you doing? What do you mean? When He Yuan heard He Feng's abrupt words, a stunned expression appeared on his face. He turned around and looked at him. Just now, your friend injured a young man and even provoked me. This matter cannot be settled like this. He Feng looked at He Yuan coldly and stared at Wang Xian. Big brother, this? He Yuan was stunned for a moment before he continued. Big brother, if my friend offended you in any way, I will apologize on his behalf. Let's forget about this matter. Forget about it? Just now, I said that I wanted to kill him. On account of you, I will teach him a lesson. This is already giving you a lot of face. He Feng looked at He Yuan with a strong expression. This caused He Yuan's expression to slightly change. Big brother, he is my friend. He Yuan's expression slowly became ugly as he emphasized. I know he is your friend, so I let him off. Don't ask about this, little brother. He Feng said faintly to He Yuan. The conversation between He Feng and the He Yuan brothers caused everyone to hold their breaths as they watched this scene with some fear. The confrontation between the two most outstanding disciples of the He clan. They didn't dare to say a word. Even the Lin Yao, and He clan disciples and He Sui Qing didn't dare to interrupt. Big brother, today is my birthday. What if I say that I must protect him today? He Yuan's expression also slowly turned cold as he spoke in a deep voice. He Yuan, in other times, I always let you win. But this time, I won't let you win. If he dares to provoke me, he will have to pay the price. He Feng's expression also turned cold as he stared at He Yuan. I, He Feng, am a dragon among men. Not just anyone can provoke me. He Feng's domineering attitude caused He Yuan's expression to turn slightly ugly. He stood there and stared at him. Move aside. You are not my match now. He Feng took a step forward. He Yuan, move aside. This kid is too arrogant. It's fine even if big brother He Feng taught him a lesson. It's just little brother He Yuan. Don't get involved. Big brother He Feng won't do anything to him. Some of the He clan's disciples who were close to He Feng spoke up when they saw how domineering He Feng was. Obviously, there were already disciples who supported the dragon like He Feng. Their words caused He Yuan's expression to change drastically. Brother He Yuan, I'll give you a way out. This is the Law Enforcement Pavilion's token. I've just joined the Law Enforcement Pavilion. At this moment He Feng took out a token. He squinted his eyes and looked at Wang Xian. I have the right to punish him for daring to make a move in the He clan's territory. You can't protect him either. He took out the token from the Law Enforcement Pavilion. Although it was to give He Yuan a way out, it was a different attitude. I won't let this guy off today. Chapter 1500. 1500 A dragon among 1,500 people? The Golden Law Enforcing Decree was in He Feng's hands. The Law Enforcing Pavilion was the only law enforcing department of the He clan. It was able to understand any movement in the He clan's forest. The Law Enforcing Pavilion held a very important position in the He clan. Just like He Feng, even if he wanted to do something in secret, he had to inform the Law Enforcing Pavilion. Unless the clan leader and the clan elders spoke, no one could stop or refuse the Law Enforcing Pavilion's law enforcing decree. He Yuan looked at the law enforcement order and his face turned gloomy. He took a deep breath. Punish me? Hee, I would like to see how you will punish me. Wang Xian patted He Yuan's shoulder and looked at He Feng with a smile. He spoke coldly with a calm expression. Brother Wang Xian. He Yuan looked at Wang Xian and frowned. If He Feng really had a conflict with Wang Xian, regardless of the outcome, it was not what he wanted to see. If He Feng was at a disadvantage, he would definitely seek revenge. Of course, He Feng would not be at a disadvantage either. With his current strength and the existence of a dragon among men, there were less than 10 people in the vast region who could match up to him. Arrogant. I have to say, you are really arrogant. I would like to see what qualifications a guy from that tiny place in the Luhai region has to be arrogant. He Feng laughed out loud and the aura from his body was slowly released. Brother Wang Xian. He Yuan felt the terrifying aura from He Feng and his expression changed slightly. He hurriedly pulled Wang Xian's body. It's all right. I would like to see what kind of strength this so-called dragon among men has. Wang Xian gave He Yuan a relieved look and walked forward slowly. For He Yuan's sake, as long as you can withstand my 10 attacks, I will spare you. If you can't withstand 10 attacks, I will cripple both of your arms. He Feng stared at Wang Xian with a proud expression and said in a sinister tone. In his heart, he could kill Wang Xian in 1 move, let alone 10 moves. When the crowd saw that Wang Xian dared to challenge He Feng, they were stunned. A guy from the Luhai region dares to challenge big brother He Feng. This is the first time I've seen such an arrogant guy. He's just a small fry. He Feng, who came from a small place, wants to challenge a dragon among men. He's simply courting death. Should we retreat? Why should we retreat? Young Master He Feng will kill him in an instant later. Why should we retreat? Around them, the He clan's disciples and some young men whispered among themselves. Especially when they found out that Wang Xian came from the Flowing Sea region, their eyes were filled with disdain. A fellow who looked at the sky from a well. He Yuan, what should we do? At the side, He Suiqing frowned and whispered to He Yuan. There's nothing I can do. He Feng's strength has broken through and he has become a dragon among men. Today, he will not let this matter rest. He Yuan clenched his fists and felt a little powerless. At this moment, he was no match for He Feng. He could only wait for Wang Xian's injuries to be healed. A piece of trash. I'll give you a chance to make the first move. He Feng stared at Wang Xian and said with disdain. If it wasn't for He Yuan, he would have killed this guy instantly. He. Wang Xian looked at He Feng who was looking down at him arrogantly. A hint of disdain appeared in his eyes. He waved his arm and 2 gray palms attacked He Feng directly. I gave you a chance but you didn't cherish it. When He Feng saw Wang Xian's casual attack, his eyes turned colder. He moved the staff in his hand slightly. He waved his arm gently as well. Numerous thorns attacked Wang Xian. Bang! Bang! What? This time, He Feng's pupils constricted slightly, and a hint of shock appeared on his face. The staff in his hand made a final attempt to block the attack. Pa! A crisp sound rang out as his palms smashed the staff into pieces, landing directly on He Feng's arms. Ah! A painful scream came directly from He Feng's mouth, accompanied by streams of blood flowing out. His body flew backward. The whole process took less than a second. He Yuan, who had already taken out the pills to treat Wang Xian, turned stiff. Everyone around looked ahead in a daze. It seemed that the plot was completely opposite to what they had imagined. How is this possible? A He clan disciple couldn't help but exclaim in shock and growled in disbelief. Shouldn't the one screaming and flying backwards be that young man? How could it be He Feng? With one move, He Feng was sent flying backwards while screaming in agony. Wasn't he a dragon among men? Dragon among men. Wang Xian revealed a mocking expression on his face as he smiled faintly. Ah, my arm. You actually crippled my arm. I'm going to kill you. He Feng, whose body was trembling on the ground, revealed a ferocious expression as he growled loudly. His voice spread across a few kilometers. He staggered to his feet ferociously as he stared at Wang Xian with blood-red eyes. "Kill me?" Upon hearing his words, Wang Xian turned cold as well. He waved his arm. A grayish energy attacked him once again. "You." Seeing that Wang Xian was attacking him again, He Feng's eyes revealed a look of fear. He gritted his teeth as his body emitted a bright light. Bang! Ah! However, the terrifying force caused his body to fly backward again. He widened his eyes and spat out blood. "I'll spare your life for the sake of He Yuan and the He clan." Wang Xian looked at him and said faintly. When everyone around heard Wang Xian's words, they looked at him stiffly. What happened?" A scream came from He Yuan's birthday. "Oh no, let's hurry over." Feng Er's voice. Around the He clan, the rest of the He clan were slightly shocked when they heard the scream around the holy tree. At the position of the enforcement pavilion, the 3 pavilion masters were slightly stunned. The scream came from the He clan. They didn't have time to hesitate and flew over immediately. In a room in the holy tree, the He clan leader was drinking tea with a graceful and elegant woman. When they heard the voice, their expressions changed. "It's Feng Er." The woman immediately stood up. The He clan leader's expression also changed slightly, as if he had thought of something. "Let's go." His figure moved, and his figure immediately disappeared, flying towards He Yuan's birthday. Chapter 1501. 1501 Clan Head. This. It's still an instant kill, a casual wave of his hand. His strength is simply too terrifying. How is this possible? He Feng is a dragon among men, how could he be defeated so easily? That young man's strength. Within the He clan, at the birthday banquet venue, sounds of shock could be heard. Looking at the miserable He Feng, everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Crushing, completely crushing. A young man from the Flowing Sea region had actually crushed He Feng, who was considered a dragon amongst men in those empires. How was this possible? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, how could they believe it? "I want to kill you, I want to kill you." He Feng fell to the ground. His entire body was in a sorry state. The pain in his arms and his chest made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Sensing the gazes of the tens of thousands of young men around him, he stood up slowly with a ferocious expression and roared at Wang Xian. When they saw He Feng's slightly absent-minded roar, everyone was slightly shocked. They knew that this Wang Xian had completely offended young Master He Feng. This enmity was completely formed, even if young Master He Yuan was in the middle. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as He Feng finished his sentence, figures flew over one by one. The 3 pavilion masters and a few law enforcement personnel who were the closest flew over. They looked at He Feng, who was lying on the ground in a miserable state, with a stunned expression. He Feng. The 3 pavilion masters quickly landed beside He Feng and cried out in surprise. "Seventh uncle, help me kill him! Help me kill him!" When He Feng saw the group of people from the law enforcement pavilion arriving, he shouted at one of the pavilion masters with a ferocious expression. "Big brother, it was you who wanted to teach brother Wang Xian a lesson but was injured by him. You can't blame brother Wang Xian for this, right?" He Yuan's expression changed slightly when he heard He Feng's words. He quickly spoke up. He was afraid that the people from the law enforcement pavilion would kill Wang Xian directly. "You dare to hurt me? No matter who it is today, don't even think about leaving our He clan." When He Feng heard He Yuan's words, his bloodshot eyes swept across him and Wang Xian as he growled in a low voice. "Huh!" The few pavilion masters were slightly stunned when they saw He Feng's ferocious and furious expression. They raised their heads and looked forward. This? When they saw Wang Xian, their faces froze and the corners of their mouths twitched slightly. It was actually him, it was actually this young man. Heck? What a joke! Unless it was the tribe leader and the 3 tribe elders, or the ancestors of the guardian tribe, they wanted to kill him. Feng air. At this moment, a woman's shocked voice sounded. Two figures appeared in front of He Feng. The woman's face was filled with worry as she walked up to He Feng and looked at his body. Clan leader. When the surrounding people saw the figure, they bowed respectfully and called out. Mother! Feng, who hurt you so deeply? In our He clan, who would dare to hurt you? He Feng called out, and the woman's face was filled with anger as she shouted. Mother! He Yuan saw his mother and father arrive, and a bitter expression appeared on his face. He didn't expect that this matter would be so big. Who dares to hurt my son? Stand out. The woman's face revealed a cold, murderous aura, and she looked forward and shouted sternly. Her voice caused everyone around to be shocked. It's done. The moment the woman finished her sentence, the He clan leader behind her said faintly. His gaze swept over He Feng and then looked at Wang Xian. A smile appeared on his face as he said, Brother Wang Xian, my eldest son is insensible. Don't mind him. What? However, the words of the He clan leader stunned everyone present. Even the woman, He Feng, and He Yuan looked at him in astonishment. What was going on? His eldest son was severely injured. Not only did the He clan leader not take revenge for him, he even blamed He Feng. It's all right, He clan leader. I was too harsh. Wang Xian smiled at the He clan leader and said, It's all right. Let this kid know that there's always someone better. The He clan leader smiled and looked at He Yuan. Little Yuan, you've made a good friend. Get along well. Take Feng away, don't embarrass yourself here. Finally, He tribe leader looked at He Feng and said to the woman, Father. He Feng looked at his father in disbelief and slightly opened his mouth to call out. Husband, this. The woman also looked at her husband in shock. She didn't understand why he didn't punish her son after he was beaten. Take him away. He tribe leader didn't say anything. He waved his arm and a thorn wrapped around He Feng. The woman saw his expression and nodded slowly. Yuan, enjoy your birthday. She said to He Yuan and left immediately. Seeing He tribe leader take He Feng away without saying anything, everyone around was shocked. What the hell was going on? He Feng was beaten up so badly, yet clan leader he didn't say anything. Something was strange. Brother Wang Xian, have you met my father? And your strength is so abnormal. He Yuan didn't expect things to end like this. He stared at Wang Xian with his eyes wide open and asked in shock. I met him a few days ago. Uncle is a good person. Wang Xian nodded with a smile on his face. No wonder. My father must have seen your strength and didn't say anything. I really didn't expect that when we first fought, the gap between us wasn't that big. Now, the gap between us is huge. How did you cultivate, you monster? He Yuan patted Wang Xian's shoulder heavily and asked in shock. Maybe this is talent. Wang Xian smiled. Everyone around swallowed a mouthful of saliva and stared at Wang Xian in astonishment. From the few words of the He clan leader, they could tell how much importance the He clan leader placed on Wang Xian. He didn't even blame his own son for being injured. One could imagine how much recognition the He clan leader had for his strength. Perhaps, the He clan leader even wanted to pull him into the He clan. Everyone was speculating in their hearts as their eyes sparkled. Everyone had memorized Wang Xian's figure in their minds. This person was someone who could even injure the He clan's young master without any problems. Young Master Wang Xian, your strength is so strong. If you were placed in the vast region, no one in your generation would be able to defeat you. You're too powerful. He Sui Qing, who was standing at the side, also walked over in slight shock and said to Wang Xian. No wonder he was able to be good friends with the proud He Yuan. It turned out that his talent was so terrifying. You don't have to praise me like that. Today is He Yuan's birthday. Happy birthday. This is the gift I prepared for you. Wang Xian smiled and gave little rascal to He Yuan as he spoke. Wow, little rascal, I just want to buy this pet of young Master Wang Xian. Now that he has given it to you, do you think you can? When He Suiqing saw Wang Xian giving little rascal to He Yuan, she pulled He Yuan's arm coquettishly. When He Yuan saw his fiancée acting coquettishly to him, he was in a good mood. He reached out and took little rascal. Of course not, he said with a smile on his face. However, before he could finish his sentence, the expression on his face became interesting. He widened his eyes and sized up little rascal. His eyes revealed a shocked expression. Maybe no. He spat out 4 words softly. His answer caused He Suiqing to be slightly stunned. Everyone around him was also stunned. Chapter 1502. 1502 Level 7 Void Interpretation Beast Cubs Shock. Probably not. He Yuan's answer shocked everyone around him. He Yuan and He Suiqing were not related by marriage, but they met at a gathering and later became a couple. He Suiqing's family and He family naturally did not have any objections to their marriage, but were happy to see it. The relationship between the two of them was very good. He Suiqing asked He Yuan for something, and he would not refuse. However, now he actually directly rejected He Suiqing. This caused everyone's faces to be filled with astonishment. At this moment, at the height of more than 1,000 meters from the holy tree, in a wooden house, the He clan's patriarch and the woman brought He Feng into the room and took out some medicinal pills to treat his injuries. Father. He Feng looked at his father and cried out in a slightly aggrieved manner. He was a little unhappy and didn't understand what his father had done just now. Look at this injury. His arm was directly crippled, and his attack was so heavy. There's also the injury on his chest. He only needs half a month to recover. Husband, who is that young man? Are you going to let our Feng off just like that? The woman at the side looked at He Feng's wound and asked her husband with some heartache. He is not young anymore. His heart is not broad. He is not allowed to leave the He clan's forest for 5 years. The He clan leader coldly glanced at He Feng and coldly said, Grounded for 5 years? Father, what? He Feng looked at his father with some unwillingness and asked with an embarrassed expression. Husband, why did you ground Feng? The woman was also slightly stunned as she frowned and asked the He clan leader. But it was you who sent people to assassinate him a few days ago, right? The He clan leader looked at He Feng with a dignified expression. He Feng was slightly stunned as he slowly lowered his head. This child is a monster. The He clan leader's eyes flickered as he spat out a few words. He hesitated for a moment before he gently waved his arm towards the holy tree. But an image appeared in front of them. The image was the scene from He Yuan's birthday party. It was so vivid that even the voices could be heard. This was the image that they obtained with the help of the holy tree's power. In the image, Wang Xian had just given little rascal to He Yuan. He Yuan had rejected He Suiqing. Little Yuan, 7th level of the see-through realm. It's actually the pup of a 7th level see-through realm ferocious beast. Oh my god, brother Wang Xian. However, just as the He clan leader was about to speak, a voice came from the screen, causing him to be completely stunned. In the birthday banquet, He Yuan widened his eyes and stared at Wang Xian with excitement. He exclaimed in disbelief. What? What? However, his voice caused the expressions of the tens of thousands of people around him to show shock. 7th level void interpretation. He Suiqing was also stunned. He opened his mouth slightly and looked at little goody in He Yuan's hand. Little Yuan, are you saying that this is a 7th level void interpretation young vicious beast? She couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. The value of a 7th level void interpretation young vicious beast was clear to everyone. Humans, demonic beasts, and vicious beasts were very different. Humans didn't have a bloodline, but it could be said that their potential was limitless. Demon beasts and dire beasts had bloodlines, But there were also differences between demon beast cubs and dire beast cubs. Demon beasts understood human nature and had higher intelligence, just like the forest fairy race. They lived together with the He clan and had a level 7 insightful void bloodline. In theory, as long as the members of the forest fairy race had enough resources, they could break through to level 7 insightful voids. However, that was not the case. The child of a forest fairy at the 7th level of the profound void tier and a forest fairy at the 7th level of the profound void tier would definitely be able to advance to the 7th level of the profound void tier in the future. However, the child of a forest fairy at the 9th level of the extraordinary realm and a forest fairy at the 9th level of the extraordinary realm might not be able to advance to the 7th level of the profound void tier. Even if they could, it would be exceptionally difficult. This was because their parents' bloodline had not reached the peak of the bloodline. Children born before reaching the peak would have flaws. Because of the inheritance of the bloodline, the power that their parents did not comprehend would be passed on to the next generation, making it even harder to comprehend. As time passed on, the bloodline would become even thinner. It would be even harder for them to reach the 7th level of the profound void tier. It was just like how the forest demon, fairy, and demon beast clan had a royal family and a princess. Their royal family was the purest bloodline keeper. As long as they had the resources, they could break through. As for the other ordinary members, they needed to comprehend the power in their bloodlines. This process of comprehension was only slightly easier than that of humans. If not for this situation, the Dragon Clan and the Demon Beast Clan would have already ruled the entire transcendental continent. At present, there were only 20 or so royal clans in the entire fairy forest, including the younger generation. However, there was another way for demon beasts to pass on their bloodlines. That was, demon beasts whose bloodlines had reached the peak could preserve their bloodlines before they died and leave them to their own kind. There were some differences between young ferocious beasts and demon beasts. Vicious beasts didn't have intelligence and only had bestial nature. They would only give birth to their young when they matured. And maturity meant that they had already reached the peak of their bloodlines. In other words, as long as this young vicious beast had enough resources, it would be able to advance to the 7th level of the profound void tier. One could imagine the value of a 7th level profound void tier young vicious beast. That's right, it's the 7th level of the see-through realm. As a beast tamer, I can't be wrong. Hiyuan stared at little rascal with a fiery gaze. A young beast at the 7th level of the see-through realm was an existence that could grow to the level of his father in the future. A young beast at the 7th level of the see-through realm was a treasure to him and even to the He clan. Brother Wang Xian, this is really for me. Hiyuan asked Wang Xian excitedly. What do you think? I've already given it away. Wang Xian smiled. Take it. I'll have to trouble you to find someone for me in a few days. Huh. Hiyuan was slightly taken aback before he continued, this is too valuable. It's too valuable. Alright, take it if you want. You're welcome. Wang Xian shook his head nonchalantly. My. To Master Hiyuan, a 7th level pup, this is bullshit. All the young people around felt that the world was a little crazy, and their bodies trembled as they looked at it. Hiyuan pursed his lips and looked at Wang Xian. Then I'll take it. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. This? Sui Qing, who was standing at the side, was stunned. A birthday gift for a baby beast of the 7th level of the void interpretation realm. She couldn't believe it. Who would be so generous? This made her think about how she had promised a bunch of benefits to buy this baby beast. She couldn't help but blush. Chapter 1503. 1503 1503. How is this possible? A 7th level profound void tier vicious beast cub, it actually. At this moment, in a room thousands of meters away from the holy tree, He Feng, who was in a sorry state, saw the scene on the screen, and a shocked expression appeared on his face. Even the clan leader of the He clan, who was standing by the side, was slightly moved. The He clan only had 8 level 7 profound void martial experts, and this didn't include the Forest Fairy clan. The Forest Fairy clan was prepared to say that they didn't belong to the He clan, but to the holy tree. In other words, the He clan couldn't order the Forest Fairy clan, but if someone attacked the He clan's forest, the Forest Fairy would have to act and resist the enemy. Every level 7 see-through expert was extremely precious to the He clan. Now, Wang Xian had actually gifted a level 7 see-through level ferocious beast cub. With the strength of the He clan, they could definitely nurture it to level 7 see-through level. In other words, the He clan's forest had increased the strength of a level 7 see-through level expert. One had to know that a level 7 see-through level expert could create a second-rate force. Such a treasure was not something that could be bought with spirit stones. Husband, what is the identity of this young man? The woman at the side looked at the scene on the screen with a face full of shock. She turned her head and asked the He clan leader in a daze. She was naturally very clear about a 7th level profound void martial artist bloodline vicious beast cub. Even she could not bring out such a gift for her son's birthday. This could no longer be described as precious. He Feng was also waiting for his father's answer with a shocked expression. Now, he vaguely understood why his father was so polite to that young man. Not long ago, a rank 7 profound void martial artist killed 2 rank 7 profound void martial artists. The Towering Sky Sword sect established the Heartless Sword Dao sect. With his strength, it is still possible for him to bring out such a precious thing. Although the Flowing Sea region is small, it has already been unified under his push. Now, his age is not even as old as Yuan. The He clan leader looked at his wife and son and said with a twinkle in his eyes. What? He Feng widened his eyes and stared at his father in disbelief. This? The woman at the side was also filled with shock. The last time you sent someone to assassinate him, he had already killed you easily. In a few days, you should go and apologize to him. His talent is too terrifying. A heaven's pride. Before he grew up, he was only a heaven's pride, but he had already grown up. Even I might not be his match. The He clan leader said indifferently to He Feng. Gulp. He Feng could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He had actually sent people to assassinate a profound void tier 7 expert. He had actually provoked a profound void tier 7 expert. No wonder he could easily insta-kill him. When he thought of this, he was somewhat absent-minded. If he was not the He clan's young master, and he did not know He Yuan, he might have already been killed by him. The dignity of a powerhouse was not to be violated. Especially for a powerhouse at such a level, so what if he killed him? It would be extremely difficult for the He clan to hunt him down. But I know, father. He Feng raised his head in horror and looked at the young man in the picture. He nodded his head in fear. Brother Wang Xian, you are really a brother. At the birthday banquet venue, He Yuan was so excited that he didn't know what to say as he looked at the ferocious beast cubs that Wang Xian had given him. All right, enjoy your birthday. Wang Xian smiled nonchalantly. I'm sorry, young master Wang Xian. It's my fault for what happened last time and what happened today. Lin Yaoyao walked over and apologized to Wang Xian. No need. Wang Xian shook his head lightly and smiled at her. If you want to carve an item, I can carve one for you. No need. I have already prepared a gift for brother He Yuan. I won't trouble you. Lin Yaoyao waved her hand hurriedly. She was at a loss for what to do with Wang Xian's attitude. A young man who could make the He clan leader be so courteous. A young man who could bring out the cub of a 7th level see-through ferocious beast. In her opinion, it was normal for him to not give her face. However, she was at a loss for what to do now that he was so courteous. Wang Xian smiled and nodded at her faintly. This made Lin Yaoyao's face turn slightly red as she lowered her head and sneaked a glance at Wang Xian. He was really a handsome human with a personality. Young Master Wang Xian, let's take a seat at the side. He Sui Qing invited Wang Xian. At this moment, she no longer had any thoughts about little Goody. A young ferocious beast at the 7th level of the see-through realm. Regardless of whether He Yuan was willing to give it to her or not, even if he agreed, the He clan would not agree. This thing was too precious. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head and sat at the side. Dui Zhuang looked at He Sui Qing, Lin Yaoyao, He Yuan, and the rest with some restraint. He stood there stiffly without moving. Sit down. Wang Xian glanced at him and said with a smile. Hee, brother Wang Xian, this. Dui Zhuang smiled awkwardly. He had never expected that Wang Xian would be so awesome. Oh right, He Yuan, this is Lone Wood Zhuang. He is a friend that I know in the vast region. He is a subordinate force of your He clan. Can you arrange for him to join your army, or? Wang Xian said to He Yuan who was beside him. Oh, Lone Wood Zhuang, that's easy. I remember when we first met, I wanted brother Wang Xian to keep a pet for me. Coincidentally, I haven't found him yet. He can come. He Yuan waved his hand nonchalantly. Dui Zhuang, who was at the side, was excited. His eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. Raising a pet for young Master He Yuan, young Master He Yuan was a beast tamer. He was equivalent to young Master He Yuan's trusted aide. One step to the sky, one step to the sky. Thank you, young Master He. Thank you, young Master He. I've long heard that young Master He is extraordinary. It's as if he is the reincarnation of a god. Now, it seems like that's really the case. He's as handsome as brother Wang Xian. Dui Zhuang flattered him excitedly. Brother Wang Xian, this friend of yours is quite interesting. He Yuan laughed out loud. Around them, Dui Jiang, Yuan Sun and Dui Zhuang's fiancée, Lu Lianjin, widened their eyes when they saw this scene. They had never expected that Dui Zhuang, who they had always looked down on and even allowed others to bully him, would actually soar to the sky. In the future, he would be a person from a completely different world from them. In the future, the One Tree Zhuang, this fatty whom they looked down on, would actually become an existence that they needed to look up to. All of this was because of that incomparably mysterious youth. A single sentence could change a person's fate, and a single sentence could make one fly over the Dragon Gate. The gazes of everyone around were filled with reverence. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.